This is A's Cast Live, your comprehensive look at the Oakland Athletics.
Rooker, it's a 5 on a deep center. Robert going back at the track. He will turn and watch it fly.
And 29 other MLB clubs.
Adolis Garcia sends on the other way. That sends Carroll back. He's at the line. Grows. Ronald Acuna, another milestone in a truly historic season.
Julio with an absolute nuke out to left field.
It's Glaber Day. And like a good Glaber, Torres is there.
Join us as we take you inside the baseball universe. From humidors to Stuff Plus to walk-off dingers, we have you covered. Spend your afternoon with us, only on A's Cast Live. Here's Chris Townsend.
All righty. You ready to rock, everybody? We got a little A's baseball coming your way. First pitch is going to be at what, 4 o'clock?
4:05, yeah.
Going to have Joe Boyle against Clark Schmidt. I got some numbers on the Yankees and fastballs. Maybe a little much for you, but I got it. Think the Yankees are great at hitting fastballs?
No.
You just wait. We're going to have Justin Shackil on at 1:30. Who is Justin Shackil? Justin Shackil is the new play-by-play voice for the New York Yankees. John Sterling, after how many games?
5,000.
No, this year.
Oh, it was only like 2 weeks.
Retired.
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden, the voice of the Yankees said, 2 weeks in, I mean, he's 80 what?
5.
2 weeks in, he went, you know what, I'm done. I don't know if there's any health. There hasn't really been anything that's been said about health, but he just, after 2 weeks of being into the season, said, I'm good. Call it a career. I'm going to retire. Got grandkids. Usually there would be, for someone like that, there would be some huge ceremony. They would bring out all the dignitaries. Where's Jeter, right? They're bringing all the Yankee honks would be coming out to honor John Sterling. Nope. Just had a John Sterling day after he just quickly said, I'm out of here. I'm done. Be like Korak today, just saying, you know what, I'm done. And we'd be like, what? What? What do you mean you're retiring? It's April, whatever, 24th, 25th, whatever. I'd be like, it'd be crazy, but that's what happened. Well, this guy, Justin Shackil, took over the responsibilities. He'd been doing play-by-play for them. He's a young guy to get the opportunity to be the voice of the New York Yankees at this age. This is a job you do not leave. This is a job that you keep until you retire. I don't know if there is a bigger, when it comes to the audio point of broadcasting, I don't know there's a bigger job in all of sports. Obviously, we respect and understand how massive the NFL is, but NFL on the radio, man, people are watching it. As much as I love me some Tim Roy, the elevated one, elevation sensation, Tim Roy's the best. Basketball on the radio is not baseball. This is 162 games, and it's the New York Yankees. Whether we like it or not, the East Coast has more people living on it than the West Coast. It's just reality. And they're all Yankee honks. From New York all the way down to Florida, because all those Yankee honks want to get out of the cold and they move to Florida. They don't call it Florida. They call it Florida. I saw top 5 places to retire in the United States of America. 3 of them were in Florida. You know what number 1 was?
And the retire in the U.S.?
You've been there.
Oh,
You've been there recently.
No. Can't be Pennsylvania.
No, it wasn't.
No. Okay.
No fracking. No.
Arizona?
But you got to give me a city, and it's not Mesa.
Scottsdale.
Scottsdale was number 1.
Not what do we call it? Not Crystal Mesa?
Whoa. I'm a big Mesa guy. Look, I still have our can. Look at that.
Yeah, who called it? Someone called it. I forget who told us they called it Crystal Mesa. That's my
joke.
Was it you? I thought
Yeah,
I thought I've heard multiple people say it before.
That was my joke. That was my joke a few years ago. No, can beer right here, baby.
10 years we just celebrated there. Thank you, Joe Pun, for the can.
Yeah. Pretty sweet, huh? The hazy.
It was a good beer too, not gonna lie.
So yeah, Scottsdale, Arizona, rated #1 place to retire. Now Scottsdale's got more expensive, but Scottsdale's awesome. I highly recommend Kierland in Scottsdale. It's where I stayed with my family before spring training. But yeah, Florida, it was St. Petersburg was on the list.
I know one of them for sure.
You can go to a Rays game. All right, what were the other two?
Well, I think one of them for sure is Boca Raton.
No.
Whoa, really?
Oh, that's expensive.
Clearwater.
Jupiter is expensive. That's where all the PGA Tour guys live.
Bradenton.
No. Fort Lauderdale.
Oh, okay.
I've been to Fort Lauderdale. Fort Lauderdale used to be the home of everybody went there for spring break. I think they still do. They're the king of spring break, but Fort Lauderdale, really cool place, by the way. Right on the water, the resort we stayed at with the Raiders when we're taking on the Dolphins. I enjoyed some Fort Lauderdale. A lot of strip clubs, by the way. They're everywhere. Golf courses and strip clubs. Hey, let's retire there.
So wait, well, actually, what I heard when I was in Portland has the most strip clubs per capita in the United States. They were like proud to tell you that.
Joe Rogan, years ago, a young Joe Rogan. People forget Joe Rogan is a comic.
Yes.
Does everybody forget that? Right? Joe Rogan, before he became podcasting greatness, right? His podcast is so powerful, it freaks out politicians. He's so powerful. But Joe Rogan, remember Fear Factor? My wife loved Fear Factor. Do you even remember Fear Factor?
Yeah, of course. That was
a huge show. Well, Joe Rogan, before that, no one knew he was into martial arts. UFC didn't exist. He was a comic. And my brother had probably a CD of Joe Rogan live in Houston.
CD.
And he comes out, Houston, what's going on? And he's like doing all these jokes. He's like, Houston's got more strip clubs than gas stations.
I mean, they always joke that James Harden loved playing in Houston because of that.
Houston. I don't remember where the third Florida city is. I know Scottsdale was one, St. Petersburg, Fort Lauderdale, and there was another.
Not Clearwater, not Key West, definitely not Miami.
Not Orlando.
Not Bradenton. Not Boca. Fort Myers.
No, because I think you're going to high rent districts are not where you want to retire. But anyway, the point is, Justin Shackil.
Sarasota?
No. Did I send it to somebody? I'll find it. Let it go. Justin Shackil, when you're you're the voice of Yankees, it's the whole Eastern Seaboard. They dominate everything. That's when we always get pissed off that we got to watch Yankees Red Sox on Sunday night. You forget the Yankees go from New York all the way to Florida. They dominate. It's the most populated area of the United States of America is New York down to Florida. Really, New England down to Florida. And they own the Eastern Seaboard. And there's no getting around that. There's never, ever in our lifetime we're never going to get around that there's more Yankee fans than anybody else. We're never going to, no matter what, we're not going to, it's just, you have to accept it. And now you're the voice of that? That's a huge deal. So we're going to have the new voice of the Yankees coming up here at 1:30. Martín Gallegos, I am being told from MLB.com, has been to the Replay Center in New York City.
I'll confirm. I saw he put on Instagram because we're friends on the gram.
The gram.
He put out that he was at MLB headquarters yesterday. So we'll have to find out because I know Johnny D said they were there checking it out today. So hopefully maybe Martín was there because usually when they all travel, they all go together. Just like when
Johnny D was there.
Johnny D was there today.
All
so
right, I'm going to text him right now.
Yeah, so I'm assuming they were there at the Replay Center there in New York. Martín also.
So you want to know how I text Johnny Doskow? Bro.
I say, hey, buddy, because I don't want to say bro because that's his thing. Martín also had an article about how Lawrence Butler might be one of the most unluckiest hitters in baseball. We'll have to ask him about that. Yep. We're looking at expecting batting average already. Expected batting average.
Oh,
Going full Pache.
By the way, we have to get into something that I missed yesterday in the game, and it's Lawrence Butler. Mike in Texas, who's one of our great callers yesterday, called up bitching about balls and strikes.
Well, I heard everyone complaining about it. It wasn't just Mike in Texas.
Hey, I get it. But when you lead baseball in strikeouts, you really think it's the umpire? Today it's the umpire? Well, what's it the day before and the day before and the day before? As of when I got off the air and I stopped keeping count. When I got off the air yesterday, the Athletics had the most strikeouts in baseball. Obviously, there were more games to be played. Right behind
it's so correct.
the A's or the Boston Red Sox as of last night. That's the thing. When you're doing a show, usually when I'm doing the show after the game, we're the last game. So the stats hold up, right?
Yeah.
But when you're like doing these early games, I think we got the most double plays. Okay, so Johnny D says, replay center, unbelievably cool, bro. Fascinating.
There you go. Typical.
So my response then, why do they did you ask?
Here, while you text,
did you ask why they miss
I don't think he has the guts.
So many calls? That's my question.
You're right, though. A's do still have the most strikeouts in baseball. Red Sox are one behind, 242 to 241.
So you can't sit there and say
that's an average of over 10 per game. The A's are striking out.
You can't say it's this one game. Well, whether he stinks or not, you've got 240. Would you say it's 10 a game?
Yeah, 242.
We're averaging double. We're averaging double digits.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I went back and looked last year.
How is that possible?
Through 24 games last year, we actually had less strikeouts.
Let me ask you a question. Do you realize there's 27 outs in a game?
Yep, and 10 of them are coming from the strikeout for us.
That's a problem. That's not putting the ball in play.
No. What's the team batting average? I didn't look at that. 204. It's not the worst. The White Sox are hitting 190 as a team. Yeah.
I mean, to be bottom third in this list, this is a bad part of the beauty contest right here. When you look at the OPS and you look at the batting average, I mean, you're going to have to really ask some questions. Why this has been this way for the past couple of years. And don't tell me payroll. Putting the bat on the ball has nothing to do with how much you get paid. Ask all these young Oriole guys that are coming up, except Jackson Holiday. Holiday got
hit yesterday.
Yes,
no,
he did.
Don't sleep on him now. He's getting hot.
Trout leading off. That's a great idea.
Whoa, hold on.
Wash.
Hit a home run. This is 9th of the year. How many RBIs does he have with 9 home runs?
Oh, by the way, what did he do after that one home run leading off?
I don't know. Probably didn't get on base.
Oh, for
9 home runs, 12 RBIs on the year.
Someone was doing that. This is so great because the last time Mike Trout, it's been 11 years. I'm like, useless stats. What the hell is this guy doing hitting first?
Remember, they started changing when he started. Remember when he was hitting second? Everyone's like, "Oh, look, he's hitting second."
Fine, hit him second.
Now he's hitting lead up. Who's hitting third and fourth for them? Rendon's hurt.
I mean, it's Rendon. Okay,
he was getting hot. Forgot hurt. My father-in-law called and was like, "Hey, he was getting hot too." Yeah, yes, Jim.
Where do we want to? Okay, I want to start with Butler because I missed this yesterday. The theme of the show should be common sense. We need to start using common sense, right? Common sense is something most people have. Most people who do bad things, they know they're doing bad things because common sense says I shouldn't be doing this. You know when you steal, you know when you're doing something bad to somebody, you know you're doing it. There's certain situations where common sense says we should just do X. Common sense. Look up the definition of common sense. Webster's dictionary. What is the definition of common sense?
I go back to the book written by Adam Smith back in the day.
Oh,
wow. Common sense. There we go.
You're a Quaker.
Sound and prudent judgment based on a simple perception of situation or facts is what it
Sound
says.
And prudent judgment. Keep that up. Don't get rid of that. Sound and prudent judgment based on simple perception of the situation or facts. Today, Reggie Bush got his Heisman Trophy back. That is just common sense. Reggie Bush was the best player in college football. He was voted the best player in college football. They took it away because SC gave his mom a house. And now you look common sense. You've got players at USC, including their quarterback, making a couple $1 million. This nil money is going into high school now. We're paying kids to play high school sports. Forget, oh, well, they're college athletes. They should be treated as pros. I've always been good with that. I mean, if you would have paid me when I was playing at college, I would have been good with that. But yeah, I taught the scholarship isn't enough. I agree with stuff. Now, I have different opinions on how this needs to change, and there needs to be more accountability for the players to have the money. So if pick a school, Oklahoma, and I'm paying you, you shouldn't be able to jump ship. I'm signing you a contract, and your butt's got to be here. That's a whole different story. But the fact that we have college football players making millions of dollars to hundreds of thousands of dollars, and you basically railroaded Reggie Bush, common sense, give him his Heisman Trophy back. Right? It's common sense.
What year did he win the Heisman? Was that 2005?
Couldn't even tell you.
It was an incredible year, though.
Early 2000s. Him, Matt Leinart. Who was the other guy? White.
Jason White from Oklahoma?
Not Jason White.
Oh.
Lindell White, the other big running back.
Oh, yeah, from USC. Lindell
White,
they're
that three-headed thing was incredible. So it's common sense. Let's use common sense. Should Reggie Bush have his Heisman back? Common sense, yes. Folks, the amount of people being thrown out of baseball games, I think to regular people is alarming. But I don't think you really know how many people are getting thrown out. So I was thinking about this. So yesterday, when I was going from inside my house out here to my studio, I didn't see Lawrence Butler get thrown out. So it wasn't until after I got off the air that I realized I would have been ballistic in the postgame show yesterday. I would have gone ballistic. We have guys being thrown out of games. If you don't watch Quick Pitch, which we know doesn't get great ratings, but it's the only true highlight show that does a really great job. They use both teams' broadcasters. You see all the main stuff that happens in games. If you don't watch Quick Pitch on MLB Network like us baseball dorks, you're probably not seeing it. But when you watch Quick Pitch every night, like I do, you see how many people are getting the hook. To be kicked out of a professional sports contest, this should be an egregious some form of behavior. You need to be, listen, your behavior's awful, you need to go. That's common sense. That's common sense. We need to use common sense. It is not common sense to make throwing people out of contest a normal deal. This should not be the norm. Like when Draymond Green, he's the greatest example. They tee him up and everybody goes, oh, God. But there is a process to Draymond Green's bad behavior for him being told you must now leave the contest. There is a trail. There's facts. There's information that lead us to they've listened, they've teed him up. That's one tee. He continues. I've had enough, or later in the game, more. It's common sense that Draymond Green has gone over the line, and they give him a ton of rope. It's common sense when it's time to throw him out. They're making baseball umpires are being allowed to throw people out at a rate that it's now just normal. And we try and defend it like, well, it was, when the old guys go out and they flip out on the umpire, it's entertaining. Yes, Lou Piniella throwing bases into the outfield, going nuts, kicking dirt on home plate. But the majority of them aren't, like 90-something% of all these ejections are, you're out of here. Then the manager comes out real quick and then he leaves and that's it. And it's, or players, the dust ups of the players and going nuts, and George Brett wants to kill the umpire. Yeah, that's entertainment, but that's not what they are, because they're becoming normal. We're normalizing throwing people out of games. It is hard to get thrown out of an NFL game. It is hard to get thrown out of an NBA game. Hockey's different because we put you in the penalty box, right? It's a rough and tough fighting game. Their game is different.
I mean, was it John Tortorella, the coach of the Flyers, earlier this month, or might have been end of March, thrown out of a game, and then he wouldn't leave the bench. He just stood there and was staring at the refs and going back and forth. Pretty funny. Tortorella is notorious for being a guy that's like that.
You throw all the sticks onto the ice, okay. Common sense said, you've crossed the line. We had Boone thrown out. Major League Baseball is not going to find him. They're going, my bust. Butler gets thrown out the next day. Grifol, the manager of the White Sox, was thrown out the same night the day Boone was thrown out. Melvin was it's just like every night you're watching, you're out, you're out, you're out, you're out. If you're a teacher, your entire classroom's sitting out in the hall.
I went back and checked. No ejections by managers yesterday, so we're still at 12. 12 on the season. Bob Melvin and Derek Shelton lead the NL.
Can we keep a tally on how many ejections there's been?
I don't know.
I mean, folks, we're 24 games in and we've had 12 managers ejections.
I don't know if you're able to look for players, but I know how to track managers.
I mean, do you understand that? 12 times 2 is what, Cody?
24.
So half these games you got at some point a manager of one of these teams being thrown out. Half the games so far this year. And people defend it. And it's like, that's crazy. That's crazy that there is such a quick hook. Something's going on. Maybe I'll text Robert Melvin and see what his opinion is of it. Well, that's Kotze on Friday. I mean, Kotze right out of the gate was getting warned. You know what? People are going to complain about your strike zone. You can't argue balls and strikes. You know what? Well, that's archaic and stupid. Because, by the way, I said it yesterday, we can track every single time a pitch is thrown. I know whether you called a strike. This is not yesteryear where we can only listen to the transistor radio and they're reacting games going, that's a double down the line. Those days are over. We have technology. They started putting a box on the television screen. But it's now even better. I see every pitch that comes in, ball or strike. And if you call it a strike and it's a ball, it's clear as day. And the fans, last time I checked, they have these too, right?
Most fans do, yes.
So the fans at the stadium, you have this too. So if you don't think that they're going to be chirping at your ass behind home plate when you got a bad strike zone, and whether you're like, oh, man, I don't like the idea of an electronic strike zone. Johnny and I went round and round about this at spring training, but it's another great example. This is leading to an electronic strike zone because you guys suck. The players know it. The managers know it. We get to watch it right here as every pitch comes in. I can follow it. Which device do you want me to follow it on? Which one? Because I can follow every pitch, and I can see whether it is a strike or not. And then if you're not calling it, and by the way, it was bad for both teams yesterday. But the fact that your authority is challenged whatsoever, you're gone, you're gone, you're gone. Once again, you need to have behavior that warrants being thrown out. Egregious behavior. Common sense. We know what egregious behavior is. At times, Aaron Boone has egregious behavior. Gotta go. Look up the definition of egregious. What is it? We've done common sense.
Outstandingly bad, shocking.
Abusive. Was Lawrence Butler abusive yesterday?
No, not in my opinion. I mean, everyone was displeased with this. I mean, even Vince
Was
Cotroneo
it
was making comments about it.
abusive? What is it abusive? Egregious? Was it just, oh my God, his behavior, he's got to go?
No.
And what I saw from Grafal getting tossed the other night at White Sox, God bless that guy, the year they're having, he didn't look like he did anything crazy. No one's looking like they're doing anything nutty. And we got dudes getting thrown out like it's like this isn't like good for the sport. It's not. Now, you want a Lou Piniella? Okay, I'll say that is entertaining. But we're not seeing those anymore because it's happening so much. Years ago, I don't have the data to back this, but years ago, it just feels like it was less. So when a guy did get thrown out, he did go Tommy Lasorda. He did go Earl Weaver. They went up. The Earl Weaver was such a foul-mouthed man. And when he went out there, I mean, we can't even play him for you because it takes forever to bleep everything. Tommy Lasorda takes forever. When they went out there, they got their money's worth.
We're also forgetting the guy that led baseball in most career ejections, Bobby Cox.
Well, Bobby Cox he would just get thrown out and walk. I mean, Bobby Cox didn't want to work that night. I remember covering a game at Candlestick Park, Braves and Giants, and Bobby Cox got thrown out before first pitch and just walked down the line, and everybody knew he didn't want to sit there in the cold.
Well, I remember
it was freezing.
I remember Tom Glavine told us something similar to that before a couple of years ago. He told the same thing. He goes, I remember at Candlestick, Bobby Cox got thrown out of a game essentially because it was cold and he just didn't want to be
cold.
Yeah.
These guys play in Atlanta. Dale Murphy used to tell us they loved coming out to L.A. and San Diego because hot Atlanta, man, it's humid, it's miserable. They loved being in it. Yeah, the Atlanta Braves used to be in the National League West. So they loved to come out to L.A., San Diego, even San Francisco because they were out of the heat. But yeah, you're playing in the Southeast and you get to San Francisco in the summertime. Fog's coming over, the wind swirling. It's cold. You're used to being hot. Bobby Cox, get me out of here. But yeah, Bobby Cox would get thrown and he's out. But it can't be the norm. This can't be normalized. This throwing everybody out and you even look at me wrong and you're out of here. I mean, it's just like, it's not good for the sport. And I don't think, more importantly, I don't think it's good for the young viewers. I don't think they dig it.
I don't have the data to back it up, but I would say if you're tuning into a game and you're seeing a player thrown out, like Draymond Green's he led the NBA in ejections with 4 this year. Obviously, that's
way down for him.
Yeah, he gets thrown out of a lot of games, but 4. So you're like for NBA games a little different. For baseball games, if a manager gets thrown out, I don't think fans are tuning in to see the manager, tuning in to see the players, but it's still not good when your manager's getting thrown out in the first inning for something he didn't even do.
It's common sense, right? We've lost common sense. That's the point of today. Reggie Bush not having his Heisman, it's common sense. Give it back. There's certain things in sports we got to have some common sense. And throwing all these guys out at a rapid rate, throwing Lawrence Butler out yesterday, you got to have common sense. Like, what are you doing? You can't argue balls and strikes. Well, maybe we need to kind of rethink that. Because it's at a point to where you've had 24 games for most teams, and we've had 12 different managers' ejections. We're not even counting players. Half the games, or all the games played, these 24 days of baseball being played. And obviously, it's not perfect in days-wise, but everybody's played around 24. We've had 12 managers ejected. That doesn't count players. How many people are really – that's what I'm saying. If you don't watch Quick Team, you don't know what's going on with all the other games. Well, when you watch Quick Pitch, they show you all the people getting thrown out. So I'm sitting there every night just going, my God, how many people are getting thrown out on a daily basis? It shouldn't be that easy. It shouldn't be normal to us to constantly be kicking guys out of games. Managers, players, whatever. What's up with these umpires? That's the question. What is up with the umpires? Why do people who are in charge of running games in other sports don't have such thin skin? Because you do not have thin skin in the NBA and you do not have thin skin in the NFL.
Yes, well, I mean, especially with basketball, because you're getting yelled at every single time someone drives the hoop, claiming they're getting hit in the arm, getting hit in the face.
Don Nelson was up screaming at people all game long. College basketball coaches, my God. It's all game long. Can you imagine a baseball umpire reffing a college basketball game? You're ripping the guy. You call timeout, team's coming over, you walk over and you start laying into the guy.
Coaches still do that now.
You're laying the guy, fouls, guys shooting free throws. You're walking on they walk onto the court. Basketball coaches walk onto the court and rip your ass. Right? How would a baseball umpire do as a basketball referee?
Can you imagine a baseball umpire handling Bobby Knight?
Oh, chairs at him.
Yeah,
I mean, how's that going to play out?
Yeah, I don't think it'd be great for umpires.
No. We're going to see tonight. I don't know how our time is going to work out here. We're going to have a little fun with, because I was listening to our guy CJ Nikowski, no longer a broadcaster with the Rangers, doing loud outs on Sirius XM on my way home today.
He does Braves now.
He's now the Atlanta Braves. And who's the guy we've had him on? I can't remember his name. Former pitcher. He does Bally's Indians at Guardians.
Jensen Lewis.
Was he with Jensen Lewis today?
I wasn't sure, but Jensen does fill in sometimes, so that's usually him. And
they were talking about what we talk about all the time with how do you make the lineup out? You know, are you a manager that essentially is being handed a lineup every day? Do you have the power to do your own lineup, do your own suggestions? We don't know. Nobody knows, right? Like literally, I have found out that some of the actual coaching staff don't even know. Does that surprise you?
In baseball today, you would think I would say yes, but I'm going to go with no.
That doesn't surprise you?
No.
Wow. Well, you're an insider.
Yeah.
You're a baseball insider.
I'm in there chatting it up with everyone with Johnny in the clubhouse.
You know, that's what we do. We pay Johnny to be everybody's friend. Bro, he's everybody's buddy. And he does some play-by-play, but he's everybody's buddy. That's Johnny D.
And go to the replay center.
Yeah, and go to the replay center and not ask the tough questions. If this technology is so great, why do you guys get it wrong? That's the first thing I would have walked into. It's like, oh, this is all great, all these screens and everything. How do you miss all these calls, you bozos? I would have totally done that. Hey, I've said it. Problem is not the technology. The problem is the humans using the technology.
But people don't want to admit that.
No. Why? Because once again, it's umpires judging umpires.
Yeah, it makes them look bad.
Right?
You're calling out your brother.
You have video experts that can break everything down to the very, like, here is the cleat sliding into the base. They can break it down to the very, they can zoom in, they can do it. But in the end, the final call is coming from an umpire at the replay center, not a video specialist expert.
How is it that our video was it Adam Rodens does our video coordinating? So when Darren Bush gets on the phone, calls him, he has 20 seconds to look at 15 to look at a piece of footage in time while Kotze's holding up his hand saying, hold on. And they say, all right, challenge it. Where the umpires go, oh, you know, how can he figure that out 15 seconds that this guy's safe or out, but the umpires take 3 minutes and they still get it wrong?
Yeah. Well, how about that one? I don't know if you listened to that post-game show where Ruiz slides in. He's clearly safe. They call him out. And Kotze goes to challenge.
Yeah.
And they go, no, you didn't do it in 15 seconds. I went back, rewinded it. Ruiz slides in. I get my iPhone. I get the timer out. From the time the umpire goes, clinch fist out, I hit start. And it was 19.2 seconds from when the clinch fist happened to Kotze going like this. And I brought that up. Of course, Vince throws me under the bus. And I'm like, wait a minute. You guys don't think that you're trying to tell me there's an umpire on the field with a timer who I'm timing it perfectly because I have the ability to rewind it, press play. I'm controlling the scenario, right? You're telling me live on the field, the umpire had, by the time the Fist is clenched. He's out. Hits the timer. Looks over at Kotze. Nope, that's not 15 seconds. I had it at 19.2, but I'm doing it perfectly, right? From the time the clenched fist to the hands go to here. There's no way an umpire on the field, live in action, would have. So we're splitting hairs here. 15, 16 seconds, maybe 17.
I mean, all you do is looking at that guy as soon as Kotze goes. Like to hold up the hand and then does the, it works perfectly.
That's why I couldn't believe Vince was like, oh, no, you only get 15. I'm like, you're trying to tell me this guy is like perfectly, he would have to be, if I did it perfectly at 19.2, which Kotze would be over, right? Kotze would be over at 19.2. But I did it perfectly. There's no way the umpire on the field did it perfectly and go, past 15 seconds. Starting to sound like Cavill. Nope, not going to happen. I'm on it. There's no way that was perfect. So the whole replay thing is a mess. I don't even know why we got on that. Why did we get on that?
Because we talked about Johnny being there.
Oh, yeah. Johnny needs to ask Johnny out. So the point is we're going to see tonight. Tonight is a great example of it's not as scientific as you think. Seth Brown is in the lineup tonight.
Hitting fifth.
What's he hitting on the air?
I didn't look at his actual batting average. I just looked at his splits. But I think it's like, is it 203?
Seth Brown got a base hit gift double from Juan Soto yesterday.
214.
He's hitting 214. How many homers?
1.
OPS?
567.
Ooh.
Not great.
OPS plus 100 being league average.
72.
100 being league average. But he's hitting fifth tonight. Why? Because Seth Brown, in his career, Clark Schmidt is on the mound for the Yankees, by the way. Yankees have won each of Schmidt's last 6 starts, his 3.54 ERA in those outings, and hasn't allowed more than 3 runs in any of them. So that obviously dates back to last year. Clark Schmidt has a 5.17 ERA and 3 career starts against the A's. Doesn't matter. That's a different year, different time. Who cares? But we care because Seth Brown in his career against Clark Schmidt, I have no idea when this was. I have no idea where Seth Brown, what was going on in his life. I have no idea what was going on in Clark Schmidt's life. No idea. Seth Brown is 4 for 5 career off Clark Schmidt for an 800 batting average. Huh? There's your science. We always think there's so much involved in this. We think that there's so much in the why is Road Trip Mike calling me? Road Trip, you're in New York. I'm on the air, Road Trip. You know, Road Trip Mike and I are going to Notre Dame, Stanford.
Yeah, I was there when you guys were talking about that at the Coliseum.
I'm very excited.
South Bend.
Yeah.
I've only driven through it, but
I've never been to Notre Dame.
I haven't either. I just drove through it on my way.
I mean, don't you think going to a Notre Dame football game would be pretty cool?
Yeah, they're good. They have a good team too. Stanford, not so much, but Notre Dame has a good team.
Oh, shots fired at the Cardinal. Well, what would be great is after San Jose State kicks Stanford's ass, then I can watch Stanford get rolled by.
I don't care about that ACC school.
Notre Dame. Yeah, San Jose State, get ready, folks. Going to roll Stanford this year. Can't wait.
Coach Ken threw out the first pitch of the Giants game.
Well, you remember why Stanford and San Jose State stopped playing? Because Stanford kept getting beat. Then Harbaugh showed up. This is before Harbaugh.
And one David Shaw kept winning. So.
Pre-Harbaugh.
But so, yeah, I took the Seth Brown one step further, and I said, let's see what Brown's hitting against righties this year overall. And you asked,
let's go.
He's in 214 overall on the season. Against righties, he's hitting in 64 at-bats, 203. But he's 4 for 5 against Clark Schmidt in his career.
In the past. So we're going to see. This is, you want to know the science of putting a lineup together in Major League Baseball? Here's your science. Seth Brown got a hit yesterday. Juan Soto turned it into a double. Maybe a good right fielder would have caught it. Juan Soto stinks in the outfield. But Brownie gets a double. Good for him. But his numbers this year, not great. 31 years old, right? Or is he 32 yet?
I think he's 31.
He's 31.
Brownie is 31. It'll be 32 in July.
It's going to be 32 in July. Off to not a good start. Hitting a $188 with runners in scoring position.
That is fact. We looked that up.
$188. But in the past, he's 4 for 5 off Clark Schmidt. Now is that great science? Is that great data?
I'm going to go Brian Kenny and MLB Now and go small sample size theater.
Is that? So we're going to see, right? Seth Brown could go out tonight. 2 jacks, have a huge night, and we'll go.
I hope he does.
Front office is brilliant.
I'll come on and I'll apologize to Seth Brown.
You're going to call tonight. You're going to call it. If Seth Brown goes off tonight, you got to call in and apologize to our front office.
Okay, fine. I've never actually called in the post game. I've called in a few times and been on hold too many times, so I've hung up.
Oh wow. Well, hey.
I'm not Greg and Slow or Mike in Texas.
We got a lot of people want to call in and talk a little A's baseball. All right, we got to get to the new voice of the New York Yankees. I'm not overselling that, right? This is a big deal.
Yeah.
I mean, the voice. Is there a bigger job in terrestrial radio, streaming too? Is there a bigger job in sports than the voice of the Yankees? I'll sit and wait.
No, answer for you now. I'll say no. I think it's the biggest job.
You mean not the Sharks? Scott!
Thanks for everything, Dan Quinn. He was relieved of his duties today. David Quinn is the head coach of the Sharks.
He got 1 year?
2 years.
2 years?
2 years. He was a Rangers coach before that. Never made the playoffs. So Sharks looking for a new coach.
So you fire a guy in a rebuild? That's got Bo Porter written all over it.
Well, the team progressively got worse from last year, but there's reasons.
Yeah,
it's Bo Porter. Yeah, Bo Porter-esque.
You wanted the team to get worse. You want the draft pick, right?
Well, there's a lottery, so they still might not get the number 1 pick.
All right. Is there a bigger job?
No, I still think it's the Yankees. I don't think.
And I hate the Yankees. I'm on record. I'm a Yankee hater, but I respect the hell out of them, right? Here is the new voice, Justin Shackil, who has worked. He's going to tell you he's worked around the Yankees. He did minor league play-by-play. He is like the third guy on the broadcast. I mean, it's John and Susan. Thank you, Susan. Yankees win. No, you're replacing a legend, but it's not like there was this build up and that like all of a sudden John Sterling just we learned about on our phones. This legendary voice of the game, a Stantonian blast, burn baby burn. The Grandy man can. I mean, his calls were legendary.
An A-bomb from A-Rod.
The Giambino. It was just, I don't know where we were. Where were we? All of a sudden, it was like, John Sterling retired? You first thought, something's wrong, right? You know, he's 85 years old, but he just, I guess, like 2 weeks into the season said, peace out. God bless him. He went out on his terms. Well, Justin Shackil is the new voice of the New York Yankees, and he joins us on A's Cast Live. So we appreciate you taking the time coming on A's Cast Live. And first off, congratulations. I mean, this is one of the premier jobs in American sports broadcasting.
Thank you, Chris. Thanks for having me. It's so surreal that I'm in a position like this. Grew up a massive Yankee fan, close to New York City, and every time I've come to work over the last several seasons, it's always a surreal feeling that kind of washes over me. And now, another pinch me moment leads to a pinch me opportunity. And it's definitely the only job I've ever wanted. So it's really cool and a big blessing here. Yeah,
I think about a guy. You grew up New Jersey, right?
I grew up in New Jersey, about 20 miles from Yankee Stadium.
And I know it's an honor just to be around the ball club, be broadcasting some of the games, but to now become the voice of the New York Yankees, it's a different deal because the Yankees are one of the prominent sports franchises in American sports history. It is what it is. And usually a job like this just doesn't come open. So just when it came to you and they talked to you about it, and all of a sudden kind of shocking that Sterling, who's had an unbelievable career, obviously is going to step down. Just what was this whole process like for you? Because it happened really fast.
Yeah, I was, it definitely built up over time, and I can give you the Cliff Notes version. I've worked with the Yankees in some capacity since about 2016, whether it's in their digital media department, for the Yes Network, they're on the TV side, and then started filling in here and there on the radio side a couple of years ago, moved into the post-game hosting slot last year, and filled in for John on a lot of the road trips. And you talk about what this must be like, Chris. And I'll tell you what, the players, obviously they change. And now it's at the point where I'm older than most of the players, pretty much all the players. But
it happened. It definitely happened.
It definitely happened. But the thing that stays with me each and every time, and I think it adds to the surreal feeling that I get when I come to work, is that I am now working alongside the people that I grew up watching and who taught me the game. And I'm talking about the broadcasters between John and Susan and Michael Kay. You have Jack Curry, former writer. Now he works for the Yes Network. The New York media, the old guard there that's been here really since Billy Martin's time, and grew up on, Billy Ball style, Buck Showalter, Billy Martin disciple there through those eras where it wasn't always ticker tape parades. It was before this dynasty that happened in the 90s. I'm learning from those people after growing up and watching, and also in a way being accepted by them. That has been the most rewarding aspect of all of this. So yes, it's been a long winding road. I'm so happy for John that he's going to be able to just do what he wants from now on. Spend time with his children, watch all his shows, love sports. He's going to watch all the games, all the playoffs. That's a big reason why they presented him with an 80-inch flat screen on John Sterling Day a few days ago. So it's just a blessing to be in this Yankees media sandbox, for lack of a better phrase.
Yeah, I bring it up on this show all the time because when I was growing up in the 80s, the Yankees were terrible, right? You had the feud going on with Steinbrenner and Winfield. Don Mattingly only made the playoff once, and this new generation of baseball fans, they only remember the Yankees from the 90s into the 2000s, and they've always been the playoffs. So things have definitely changed. And, you're working next to Susan, who's a radio, she's just like a New York radio. She is a radio Hall of Famer.
That's right.
Which is a really, really big deal in our industry. For you, what has it been like going from, okay, I'm the fill-in guy? What are the feelings like, the pressure, the anxiety? What's the difference from going, I'm just filling into, it's really now my seat?
I would say, and I know this is kind of cliche, it's kind of player speak, but it really is true. Like, I really do take it a game at a time, because that's all you really can do. I mean, no matter how you slice it, that's the natural approach. That's, I think, in my opinion, the appropriate approach. So I'm not trying to look so far down the road, and I'm trying to stay present each game. We're so early in the season as well. Like, who would have thought? And I know John didn't think this, but the plan wasn't for him to retire 2 weeks into the season. So we have a long way to go. We're definitely doing it as a team in the radio booth, and like I said, it's definitely a game at a time approach.
So wait a minute, you haven't picked a spot out for your own bus? They're out in Monument Park, your own monument. You haven't picked it out yet?
Let me look right now. I don't know. It's getting full up there. We've been talking a lot today on this show about common sense, because out here, obviously, Reggie Bush playing at USC. He's getting his Heisman back. I defended Boone. Major League Baseball is not going to find him, so they're basically saying, yeah, you shouldn't have been thrown out. Lawrence Butler got thrown out at the end of the game. Grafal gets thrown out by the White Sox the same night Boone gets out. The day before, I think Melvin got thrown out. And to me, I think about getting thrown out in other sports. It's hard. You got to have some type of egregious behavior to get thrown out. And it just seems like throwing guys out on a daily basis. If you watch Quick Pitch on MLB Network, you're seeing it every night. It's become the norm. And throwing people out of contests shouldn't be the norm. And yesterday, Kotze's getting warm. Boone's thrown out the day before. Butler goes out. Do you ever start to worry like this is getting too much to be the normal, throwing guys out at a rapid rate? You bring up a good point. You have to work really hard in other sports to get ejected from a given game. And I think there's definitely a heightened level of sensitivity from umpires over the last couple of seasons. They hear what we're hearing, automated balls and strikes. It's probably coming sooner than we think. And I don't know if that weighs on them any heavier than it did in years prior, but I would imagine that it does. And yeah, I think there is a little bit of a heightened level, an increased level of sensitivity. Aaron Boone talked about how he spoke with Mike Hill, the senior VP of on-field operations over at Major League Baseball yesterday. They said they had a really good conversation. Aaron said he was happy with where the league was at with what transpired on Monday afternoon. But like you said, there was another ejection late in this game last night. So I don't know if I necessarily have an issue with it from an entertainment standpoint. I think a lot of the calls are wrong. I think it's premature to, obviously, what we saw on Monday was premature. What you saw last night, again, late in the game, you could tell the A's had an issue with those outside strike calls to right-handed hitters. But some of it's entertaining, Chris. We can't get around that. We're here to be entertained, right? I know it's not the most flattering form of entertainment, but whether or not I want to see it go away, I don't know. I'm kind of indifferent on it.
I'm with you. If I get the Lou Piniella throwing bags, going nuts, that's great. But a lot of these are you're out, guy comes out, yells a little bit, goes away. It's like, what are we doing? Yankees at 16-8 got out to a really good start. Now haven't been hitting as much, and they've only scored in 4 of like 44 innings or whatever it is on this homestand. So early returns. What do you think of the ball club? How do you view the start for the New York Yankees? There's been some good, there's been some bad.
Yeah, I hate giving you this answer, but I thought about it the other day. I really need to see more to properly gauge. I think that goes especially with the lineup, because we saw them come out being gangbusters first 10 days, 2 weeks of the season. Everybody was hitting, everybody was working deep counts, slowed down quite a bit. Aaron Judge, it's always going to be highlighted with what he's doing. Seems like his timing is just a little bit off, and I don't think there's too much more than that other than his timing be off. He sent the ball to right center late in the game last night. Esteury Ruiz was able to track it down and catch it, but I thought that was a good sign. He took a fastball, I believe, going the other way. And again, it's just a timing mechanism. I think it's early in the season, so I think that's why it's maybe accentuated a little bit with a player like Aaron Judge. But they've definitely slumped collectively over the last week to 10 days or so. But again, with the lineup, I need to see more. With the starting rotation, I think they're really in a good spot, because especially people believe that they just needed to kind of tread water before Garrett Cole returned. I think they're doing a little bit more than that. And I kind of feel like it could only increase as the weather gets warmer. So I'm pretty bullish on where the rotation is at right now. And the one thing that I don't know if I necessarily need to see more of to properly gauge what's going on is the bullpen, because pitchers throw their pitch types. We know that. And there's been a lot of chatter in New York about the lack of strikeout pitchers within that bullpen. They all kind of pitch to contact. They all that cutter, all the sinker. Obviously, you throw those to generate the ground balls. It seems like it may become an issue if it lasts. But also don't forget they have a more strikeout pitcher in Tommy Kahnle, who could be coming back shortly. He was slow to start the season. But overall, I think they're in a good spot at 8 games above 500. What are we, April 24th, April 25th? I think they're in a good spot.
All right, let's end on this. So much of the offseason for the Athletics was about relocation. And a lot of people didn't want to deal with the actual team. The team's going to be the worst team in baseball. We're down at spring training. We're watching it. We're going, you know what? There's some guys with some talent here. There's some young, pretty good athletes. They got a chip on their shoulder. Just saying they're going to be bad. Let's talk about relocation. It's you got to get to New York City. All the eyes are on you once you get to New York City. And now people are realizing, oh, wow, they can pitch a little bit. Oh, wow, they do have some athletes. Oh, my God, this guy coming out of the bullpen, Mason Miller, is breathtaking. So now that you've gotten to see it for a couple games, tell us what your thoughts were in the offseason, if you even thought about the Athletics, and now what you're seeing the first couple days.
I'll tell you what, Chris, Susan and I, the last 2 nights on our radio broadcast, we may have just glossed over the fact that they're relocating and, how we felt. We were, sad for the Oakland fans, but that was really it, because you could tell these players are amped up to be where they are right now. They're playing in packed stadium here in New York. I think back to late in Monday's game between obviously JP Sears doing what he's able to do, but we knew about JP, right? He came from the Yankees minor league organization. I saw Lucas Ursek last year, but I think he took a big step forward. He had nasty stuff late in Monday's game. And then obviously Mason Miller with ice in his veins, striking out Volpe, Soto, and Judge in a dynamic ninth inning. For him to be that amped up, for him to locate that straight heat, mix it in with sliders, and again, not be phased and make it look easy, overpower the top of this Yankees lineup in Yankee Stadium. That said something. Yeah, these players, you're on the A's, you're coming off a 50-win season from a year ago, but you can tell they're better than last year, and you can tell that when they're in buildings like this, they get up for it. And I think it's a healthy chip on their shoulder. So I've definitely been impressed over the first two games, and I'm excited to see what the next two games bring.
Now, obviously, you want that seamless transition in your career. You're doing it. But at what point have you guys had, because your parents, your family's got to be super, super proud. Have we had any kind of celebration, or is there anything? There's got to be. It's a big deal. It's a really big deal.
I know. I'm guilty of being a pretty boring individual. There hasn't been any type of celebration. I don't know. I'm just a big, do the job type person. And I'm definitely going to see where it takes me. Nothing's, set in stone. I'm just happy to have a seat. And again, blessed to be trusted enough to tell stories of this organization that I grew up infatuated on. So nothing yet. Fingers crossed, I guess. That's the best answer I could give you, Chris.
Well, congratulations. It's a big honor, and we're really happy for you. Thank you for taking the time for coming on today. Have a great call, and we'll talk to you when you come out west.
We'd love to. We'll be there in September. Thanks for having me. Appreciate you guys.
Where does one community end and the next begin? Across the railroad tracks? On the other side of the river? Is it between the east side and the west side? At Comerica Bank, we believe it's all one community, and we're all part of it. That's why Comerica has invested over $20 million for affordable housing, financial education, and workforce development in lower-income communities. Because when we raise expectations for everyone, we all rise. Member FDIC, Equal Opportunity Lender.
Whether it's a midweek trip to the ballpark to catch a game or a weekend of baseball for the family, grab your tickets for an A's game this season. Secure your seats today for all the biggest matchups, fireworks, drone shows, giveaways, and more. Don't miss out on all the things happening this season.
Throws and set. It's a drive into center. It's deep, and Straw is back at the track. He will turn and watch it fly.
So grab yours now at athletics.com/tickets. That's athletics.com/tickets.
Hey, Oakland A's fans, step up to the plate with Xfinity Internet. Get the fastest speeds and low-lag streaming for an incredible viewing experience that knocks it out of the park. And you'll have a consistent connection with reduced buffering and freezing, so you can stay in all the action inning after inning. When it's game time, make sure to catch it all with internet that's powerful and reliable. Stream sports from the best seat in the house with Xfinity, because it's only live once. Actual speeds vary and not guaranteed. Many factors affect speed. For factors affecting speed, visit xfinity.com/network management.
This is the place where you can dance like nobody's watching, win like nobody's business, and get away like you mean it. So what are you waiting for? Come join the party. Take that evening out and make it a night you'll never forget. This kind of action can't be beat.
This is Chris Townsend. I'm proud to announce our year 2 partnership with Link Soul. They've changed my wardrobe, and they can do the same for you. And right now, their spring collection is fabulous. Natural fabrics and versatile styles, perfect for this time of the year. And they want to introduce their performance line for golf, premium for on-course apparel, design, and to keep you cool and dry. Check it all out, linksoul.com. That's linksoul.com. Remember, look good, play good.
With more sunshine returning, it's time to get outside and make the most of what Cinnabar Hills Golf Club has to offer. Like 27 championship caliber holes tucked in the beautiful hills of San Jose. And take advantage of their amazing Bay Area views for your next special event. It's all for you at Cinnabar Hills Golf Club, an award-winning venue designed to peacefully take you away from the bustle of Silicon Valley. Go to cinnabarhills.com. That's cinnabarhills.com.
If you're looking for a new mattress, Nest Bedding has you covered. Sleep on the same mattress Hall of Famer Ricky Henderson sleeps on. Nest Bedding is the #1 brand of online mattresses and the Bay Area's favorite mattress store. Take home the Easy Breather pillow. The New York Times calls it their #1 pick. You can navigate their easy-to-use website, nestbedding.com. That's nestbedding.com. Green and Gold fans, use the coupon code Oakland and you get 10% off your entire order. Nest Bedding, love where you sleep.
You deserve extra. Extra Mile is where you get it. You don't just deserve breakfast. You deserve extra fresh Mile 1 coffee just the way you like it. You deserve more than a quick bite. You deserve an extra satisfying array of hot foods, extra good snacks, and fountain drinks that help you go the extra mile. Plus, with Extra Mile rewards, you can earn free stuff. Visit Extra Mile at select Chevron and Texaco locations. See program terms and conditions for details.
If you're looking for a great place to eat and watch games, go see our friends at the Chicken Pie Shop of Walnut Creek. The Chicken Pie Shop is one of the hottest restaurants in Walnut Creek. You're not going to find a better menu, and come try their world-famous chicken pie that has been served in Southern California for 86 years. Spacious indoor and outdoor dining, perfect for your next private party or corporate event. Don't forget free parking. For more information, go to chickenpieshopwc.com. That's chickenpieshopwc.com.
And the underdogs Oakland Athletics win their first championship since they were in Philadelphia in 1930.
Hi, I'm Raleigh Fingers, Hall of Famer, 3-time World Series champion with the Oakland A's and World Series MVP. Winning takes teamwork, skill, and heart. So when you need an ace for a personal injury lawyer that will win you the game, go with the winning team. Call Venardi Zerata at 833-VZ-for-me or go to vzlawfirm.com. Venardi Serrata, the official injury law firm of the Oakland A's.
Unlock offers and receive exclusive in-game features by downloading the MLB Ballpark app for iPhone and Android today. Plus, get the latest information on game times, schedules, and more.
Streaming from the studio, A's Cast Live continues with Chris Townsend.
All right. You know, there's times where we sit around and we're working, right? We're getting to the ballpark early. We're interviewing players from the opposing team. We're going in and doing our due diligence with the coaches and finding out about stuff. We're sitting out. We're trying to present the best possible show we can for you, our fans. And then we look over, and there's Johnny with a cup of coffee hanging out with everybody at the batting cage. I'm like, we're getting paid to work, and this guy just gets to hang out and be like a baseball fan all day long. Like, how do I get that job? Hi, Johnny. How are you?
Good, Towny.
Are you working today? Are you a fan? Like, what are you doing today? Are you buddy's buddy? What do we got?
You want to call it that. I mean, look, I got Max Schumann on a 4.5-minute interview. That was good. I talked with Ursig for a little bit. I talked to Nick Allen for a bit. So went down to the clubhouse a little bit. Kotze's doing his scrum now, but I'm here with you, and I'm glad to be with you, honestly. Like, Towny, I always like hanging out with you. You know that. So it's been good just being at this stadium, kind of soaking it all in too, Towny. You know, coming to this ballpark, or this stadium, if you will, just looking around. I went to the upper deck. I went to the top seat as high as you can go at this place yesterday, Town. I got a little
up in right field.
Yeah. Dallas, I walked around. I was trying to keep my balance. I had a little vertigo. I was struggling a little bit, but it was amazing.
That high up?
So high up. It's unbelievable. They have seats.
That's where Bonds hit it.
Right?
Yeah, Bonds hit that one. Who was the left-hander he hit it off? Ted Lilly. Bonds hit that ball off Ted Lilly. It was a day game, right? And Bonds hit it so high up, it was like incredible. That is way up there. Yeah, Yankee. Did you go to the monuments? Did you take pictures?
No. I went to monuments last year, but I will tomorrow. I'm going to go to the monuments. You can't come here and not see the monuments, even if I've seen it before. But this stadium is just so. Look, I know it's been around since just 2009. Everybody says, "Oh, the old ballpark's better," and I've been to the old ballpark. It's great, but just to be in this ballpark and be in this stadium and talk to guys. Look, Max Schumann is the first guy to play shortstop at this stadium from Kalamazoo since Derek Jeter. They're the only two from Kalamazoo to play shortstop at this stadium. So pretty cool. It wasn't lost on Max Schumann either. He was pretty fired up about that. So it was nice.
I don't mean to upset any longtime fans. I understand old Yankee Stadium. It was the second Yankee Stadium. The old Yankee Stadium had great boxing matches. You had great NFL games, legendary NFL games.
Yeah.
Obviously, all the greats played there. It was a dump. It was a dump. You peed in a trough. The hallway, the concession, everything about it was cool, but it was also a dump. This new one is so pristine. It's incredible.
Oh, it's unbelievable. I've walked around this place, and it's just look, it's the atmosphere, just the energy in this place. Our players keep talking about the energy and the energy they feel when they're playing here. You know, Lawrence Butler said it was unbelievable when I stepped in that batter's box. I haven't talked about the home run, but just stepping in the batter's box before that, he just said this place is something I dreamt about as a kid to play at Yankee Stadium. So it's pretty cool for these guys, you know.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's like I try and put it this way. Like everybody's like, oh, you're going to the Bronx is awful. I got a story about the Bronx I'll leave for another time, but I have a story about the Bronx. You're like, oh my God, it's the Bronx. It's not great. But the thing is, it's the bus ride in from Manhattan. All the buildings and in Manhattan. You're in New York, right? This is not Kansas City anymore. You're in Manhattan. It's a pretty cool place. And then next, you know, you roll in, it's Yankee Stadium. For these young guys, most of these young guys have never been to New York City.
Exactly. They've never been here. So to be, and the hotel's right in the smack of the city. I will say this, my uncle and aunt, Uncle Davey and Aunt Lynn, they came to the ball game the first night. First day, the day game Monday, and we went to a place in the Bronx, this Italian place called Enzo's, and it was off the charts. So Bronx had this little area, and it was pretty cool. It's like a neighborhood, and it was fun. We had a good time. So I'm not going to bag on the Bronx too much. I had a good Italian meal. Got fat.
When it gets late, go hang outside the ballpark and let me know how that works out for you.
I'll see about that. Yes.
Especially when there's no game going on and all the police are gone. Tell me how that works out for you.
All right. Hey, you know, Towny, we'll see.
Replay Center. We're all fascinated by it. What does it look like? You go in there. We've seen like there's a bunch of TVs, but you got the full tour. Tell us about it.
Well, Towny, it's there's so much to. I didn't realize there were that many people involved in the process. And you know, when a replay hits up and the kind of the bell goes off, it's like controlled chaos in there. And they have, you know, you have 4 umpires that are in there that they're there for a week. So, and then you have the one main umpire who ends up making the call, but you have a lot of people in on that process. So you go in and there's so much to it, Towny. I didn't realize how meticulous they are in that process. Now quickly they get the decision to be made, you know, but you have the replay and you have people talking, and then they have angles, and they have, get this angle, but they do it so fast. You know, you have to do it so that 56 seconds is the actual average time that they get the decision. You have up to 2 minutes. They wanted 2 minutes. The longest one I asked, what was the longest one? They said 17 minutes it took one time.
17 minutes? That's a long time.
Yeah, that's a long time. And even like, it's funny, he said, even 2 minutes feels like 3-4 minutes feels like a long time, even though it's not that long. It does feel a long time for the fans that are just sitting there waiting for the results. But I was impressed with the people that were working there. You know, they're all sorts of different backgrounds. You know, so there was a girl that played softball. There was another girl that was in marketing that went over there and got the jobs. And you have people from all backgrounds and experiences, and they're all, you know, have the same goal to get the call right. Right. So it's just a really
So how about this? I've always wondered, right? So like how many games we got going on right now? We got the Angels are taking on the Orioles. Mets, by the way, my Mets. Did you know my Mets?
Yeah.
I mean, I go back with Tom Seaver, Nolan Ryan. I go way back with the Miracles. How many games we got? We got 2?
It looks like 2, yeah.
So Mets are up on the Giants 6-0. What's the score down in Anaheim?
Arizona and St. Louis finished.
All right, so there's like 3 games, right? So like let's say there's like a full boat of games. Well, there may not be any challenges going on. It's kind of like I like, are they like like the fire department, all of a sudden the bells start ringing and guys come down the fire pole? Like what are they? They're just sitting around. How does it work?
That's a great analogy. It's kind of like the way it is. Yeah, it's just like they're. I asked that too. It's like, is it controlled chaos in here when the bells go off? Because the one time they had 2 or 3 going on at the same time, and then it's just chaos. You have two, 3 replays going on at the same time. You're right. They're kind of waiting for it to happen, looking around. Then when the bell hits, that they're off. So it is a little. That's a great analogy. By the way, crushing me with that. It is like that, just down the pole. Here we go. You know?
Umpires start flying out of nowhere. Like, what? Where they come from?
Exactly.
Now, the thing that I've always wondered is I want video experts, right? Because umpires are umpires. There are people who are considered video experts with the ability to manipulate cameras, zoom in on stuff. So there's got to be some, because the umpires aren't doing the technical stuff. They're just looking at it. Who's doing all the camera angles, zoom in? Who's doing all that?
Yeah, you have different people. Like, so if they have someone on another camera angle, so we're going to need this camera angle, so they show that camera angle. Oh, we're going to need the over the top camera angle. So they're all working together on this to get the right camera, because as you know, there are certain camera angles where you don't get the picture yet. You need another camera angle to do it. So you're right. That's a great question. They're constantly looking at different camera angles on which one to use to get the right thing. And they're going back. Like, the umpire will go, "Hey, do you see?" He'll look back and say, "Do you see what I'm seeing?" And they're like, they'll either say, "Yes, we're with you," or "I'm not seeing that." He's okay. Let's try again. Let's look at another angle. So the umpire's trying to get it right. Some umpires are a little more open to information from other people than other umpires. Umpires said, "No, that I'm going to go with this," but there are somebody in the back, he's asking, like, what do you guys see here? So there are a lot of people in the process. I was pretty impressed with that.
Yeah, and we have to remember, to be fair, a call has been made.
Yeah.
Right? A call has been made.
Yes.
And now you have to decide, does the evidence agree, or what we seeing, the evidence, is the call right or wrong? That's where I've always thought it was interesting, if we're going to change this, is the fact that, let's say, using the fireman analogy, right? Yeah. You got the umpire hanging out, the button presses, sirens go off, he comes down the pole. He gets to see the play without knowing what the call is. So now he doesn't have to overturn anything. Now he just gets to see the evidence, see all the cameras, and then he decides on his own, because there's a bias there. Because all of a sudden, it's an out. It's safer out. But the call is already an out, or the call is safe. You have to overturn. You have to keep the call or overturn the call. I would like it if the umpire went in blank slate, just looked at it and said, "That's an out. That's safe."
Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't ask that question, but I think you're right. I think they do know the call coming in, right?
They know the call. They know whether they need to overturn a call or not.
Right. So it has to be overwhelmingly obvious the other way for them to overturn it. Because there was a call the other day that I was really surprised was not overturned. It was in our game, and it's trying to recall it, and I can't quite recall which play it was, but I do know I was like, wow, what did they see on that to make? I think it actually went the A's way too, but it was a call that I was surprised on the result. But look, they have a lot of eyes on there, so even though we may see it the naked eye, they're looking, and they have a lot of people involved in the process. Most of the time, they're going to get it right.
Now, here's another thing that may vary. I don't know. I don't know if you're going to know this, but ballpark to ballpark, we're getting the television truck camera feeds.
Right.
Are they getting different angles in New York than we're getting on, let's say for us, NBC Sports California?
I think they are. I think they have more angles than that. Look, from what I saw, all the different screens, it would be shocking to me if they didn't have other angles than NBC Sports Bay Area or whatever, Bally's, whatever it is. I do think they have more camera angles. I think there are just cameras everywhere, and I think that's part of the process. I believe so.
And that's where we're trying to make judgments and they're seeing something. They could be seeing something then completely different than what we see.
Right. Exactly. And it's so funny too, because there's some that we
know
look.
what, as broadcasters, we need to think about that. Because, like, I do a post-game show and people are going to have judgment. Maybe I need to be like, well, they might be seeing something we don't, because they have. That's why I just do they have different camera angles than we do? And if they do, then that makes sense to be able to go, well, I don't agree with that call, but they're seeing something that I'm not seeing.
Right, exactly. And that's maybe that's it. Maybe that's why when we see something 3 different ways, how in the world is that not overturned? It doesn't make any sense, because that's happened a few times when you look at it. So maybe they do have different camera angles. I'm not sure about that answer, but that makes sense.
I think about Cleveland, Johnny. You know how I feel because I texted you. Ruiz was safe on that slide, stealing second base. And the umpires tried to say 15 seconds. I mean, the way I timed it out perfectly, and I did it perfectly, was at 19.2. And Kotze was told it was past 15. That umpire would have had to been the most Johnny on the spot, because I did it from the time the fist went like this and Kotze went like this. If you're telling me in real time that an umpire was doing, there's no way he would know that Kotze's no, it's 16 seconds, not 15. That's crazy. But umpiring, I've been talking today about common sense, like using common sense. I've been using Reggie Bush getting his Heisman back. I mean, with all these college football players getting paid, some getting paid millions. I mean, to keep Reggie Bush from having his Heisman, that's just common sense. Give them and they did that. Common sense. We have way too many people getting thrown out of games. It's like, it's crazy the amount. I mean, we've had 24 games. Every team's about 24 games. There's already been 12 times a manager's been thrown out. That's not even counting players like Butler yesterday. To me, it's like, Johnny, it's got to be some egregious, you had bad behavior. Common sense, you got bad behavior, you got to get out. I'm just scared that we are normalizing. We're making this the norm. You're out, you're out, you're out. It's just too easy throwing guys out.
You're saying a fan saying something shouldn't allow a manager to get thrown out?
It would be like he looked up into the booth. Johnny, you said something, manager, you're out. It'd be like, Johnny, you're a teacher, right? Let's say you're a teacher and you make a kid go sit out in the hall. By the end of the day, your entire class would be sitting in the hall.
Right? It's right? Look, especially when you think back at the days. Remember the days of Weaver and Martin and Piniella and kicking the dirt and those arguments, those classic arguments, right? Remember that? When it took a while to get kicked out, remember?
Because it didn't happen all the time.
Right,
so
exactly.
When it happened, Pinella's throwing bags into the outfield. Earl Weaver is one of the most foul-mouthed men to ever walk the planet. Tommy Lasorda, it was great, right? But they didn't get thrown out. That's what's scaring me, is that it's just becoming so normal that every night when you watch Quick Pitch on MLB Network, which is the highlight show, you got guys going out in every game.
Yeah, they've got to have a shorter fuse on that. I believe that too. I think especially if someone's chirping from the dugout, make sure you find out who's chirping before you throw somebody out, right? Like let's hold your horses a little bit on that. It didn't make any sense to me, but you're right. There used to be those classic arguments like, how about they argue a little bit longer, right? Go crazy and all that. Like, we don't see those anymore. We don't see them anymore. And I know replay's a part of that, Towny. I get that, but I miss those long classic 90-second, 2-minute arguments, 3-minute arguments. Those are classics, right? It's part of the game.
Did last night's strike zone make you want an electric strike zone?
No, it still didn't. It still didn't, Towny.
You were against it.
I am, bro. I am, man. Like, look, did he miss calls? He absolutely did. There were a couple on Schumann. There was the one on Butler that was high. There's no question. I just don't want that part of the game. I'd rather have a few mistakes. I don't want the electronic umpire, but I've seen it. It doesn't work for me. It's not as consistent as you might think. There are mistakes on that too. It's not a perfect system.
How giddy is Schumann right now?
Oh my gosh, you kidding me? Playing shortstop at this ballpark in Kalamazoo, Michigan? Are you out of your mind? Are you crazy? He's so fired up. Yeah, hit the home run in Cleveland. It was a good interview today. It was good to catch up with him. He's a great kid.
And this one, Cody, come on. This one's for you, Cody, because Cody loves defensive metrics. Will he be the shortstop with the most range ever from Kalamazoo, Michigan, to play shortstop at Yankee Stadium?
Yeah, Maybe. What do you think?
I mean, Johnny's out there. People say
you said Jeter wasn't good defensively. Go ahead. Here's your stage.
People argue Jeter's the worst defensive shortstop ever.
Look at now he doesn't even want to say it. Just admit you said Jeter stunk at short. Say it.
I'm not the only person that said that. But
people love to bag. It's so funny.
Johnny.
And people love to bag on Jeter. People love to bag on Jeter. It's so
he was a great hitter. He was.
He had 3,000 hits.
He made some
he
great.
Was clutch as hell. You can't tell me he wasn't clutch.
The tarp catch, some of the jump throws he made, those are great. But how many routine plays did he make that were?
Oh wow! You're going after Jeets.
The commissioner
in the house that Jeets built.
Okay, it's like, give me Jack Wilson. Give me Jack Wilson. I get it. Give me Honus Wagner. Give me Honus Wagner.
O'Neill Cruz. Give me him. I don't think Jeter has his arm strength. Hey, Jack Wilson was a good defensive shortstop.
Hey, out of the bullpen. Hey, there's no one better than Stan Belinda. Come on, you want to go great Pirates?
Teak.
Oh yeah, Tekulve was the best. Tekulve was like your biology teacher, but he was coming out getting saves like you would.
Oh, Tekulve was classic. Yeah, for sure, no doubt.
Johnny, are you on your phone right now?
You want me to get on my phone? No, I'm
no. What do you want?
Computer.
Can you turn it around so we can see Yankee Stadium?
Absolutely.
That's dope.
It's almost like we're there.
That's dope. Look at that. That's incredible. See, that's what we want. Wait a minute. Why did you get rid
Sorry, I was trying to full screen Johnny.
Do it again, Johnny. He screwed it up.
That's right.
Look how beautiful that is.
There we go.
That's Yankee Stadium. Yeah. Come on. That's the big leagues. That's the big leagues.
It is the Grande Leagues. It's the Grande Leagues for sure. No doubt.
All right, my friend. Am I with you today in the pre?
I think you're with Vinny.
Okay. Well, we'll be looking forward to you and Shu in the pregame show, and I will talk to you in the third inning.
Love to see you guys. Love you guys. Be good. We'll see you.
Appreciate it.
See you, Johnny.
Johnny Doskow on the call today, Yankee Stadium. It's a beautiful view.
Oh, it was. And while you were asking me about, before we get to Martin, we have some time. We didn't bring this up. This is maybe there's a lot of injuries that happened today. I mean, Cody Bellinger.
What's his name from the Angel just got Tommy John.
Oh, yeah, Robert Stevenson, who they just signed this offseason. Brian Bayo's on the injured list. Blake Snell.
What? Wait, no. He's the Iron Man of Iron. I mean, the Iron Man race, you think of Blake Snell.
Yeah, so Blake Snell.
You think of like running a mile, swimming, all that, biking, all that. When you think Iron Man, you think Blake Snell.
So real quick, Brian Bayo's was right lat tightness. That's from our good friend Julian McWilliams of the Boston Globe. So with Blake Snell, he was scratched with a left abductor strain. And in 3 starts, he's 0-3 with an 11.57 ERA. The Giants are losing right now. But it made me think when I was looking at the Cardinals-Diamondbacks game that just finished.
Jordan Montgomery shoved against his old team.
7 innings, 3 runs, 2 earned.
Yeah.
Blake Snell hasn't gone 7 innings for the Giants. And I text one of my friends, and I said, he was not a Giants fan, just a baseball fan. I said, hey, Blake Snell and the Angels today. Well, it makes sense. He didn't have a spring. I said, Jordan Montgomery just pitched in 7 innings, and he's not hurt. No comeback. So Jordan Montgomery's made
It's just so amazing how much excuses. Oh, you didn't have a spring.
But he's working out on the side, though, I thought.
Yeah, we got a lot of guys who had a spring that are on the IL right now.
Yeah.
We got a lot of guys who had a spring that had Tommy John surgery. A lot. Like, it's crazy. Like, those opinions are they're weak. They're not fact-based. How much spring training do you really need? You just make excuses for why guys have poor performance.
Oh, by the way, Montgomery only threw 87 pitches in 7 innings. Blake Snell has that in 5.
Max Fried had a Maddox last night.
Yeah, there's only been, I looked, 4 complete games so far this year. Is that correct? I think it's 4.
I mean, do you realize how many guys, like J.P. Sears told us he never stopped throwing?
Yes, it's 4, by the way. 4 complete games this year.
I mean, J.P. Sears never stopped throwing. Some guys need that. Some guys don't. Like Paul Blackburn, he had 4 starts in the spring? Like, you're trying to tell me, because Snell had multiple, we were told he's working out. He's facing hitters, right? So this whole, you didn't get 3 innings in a spring training outing on a backfield against the minor league guys? That's why That's not fact-based. That's just more weak baseball opinions. Those are opinions.
I guess the one thing to take away from it, same with Bayo, good thing it's on an elbow. Just 4 more guys to add to that list. I know it's a right lat strain for Bayo. It's a left abductor for
Human
Snell.
beings get hurt.
Yeah.
Playing sports, you're going to get hurt. No one's ever had a career, never got hurt. Guys are going to get hurt. There's a big difference between I have a strain in my lat, my hamstrings pulled. There's a big difference than I have to have major surgery and I'm out for 14 to 16 months, which is over, do the math, well over a year.
Yeah. And Cody Bellinger now, this came out right before we went on the air. Bellinger has a fractured ribbons going on injury list. That's what Craig Counsell told 670 to score in Chicago.
It happens, right? You watch an NFL game, people are breaking bones and people are getting concussions and you get hurt playing sports. That's fine. It's this UCL. Talking to Lou Trevino yesterday, going, your UCL is so frayed that we just got to redo it completely. I mean, that's just like, wow, scary. That's when it's scary, when you got to have major knee surgery, major elbows. And when you have to have these major surgeries that you're looking at a year-long rehab, that's what you have to stay away from because you only get so many years, right? The average guy's career, 2.5, whatever it is. And not everybody plays 22 years. So when you lose a year and a half, it's a long time in a very short career. Sad.
I'm starting to think. I hope Yankee people heard me crapping on Jeter. Johnny didn't have headphones in.
No, you had your chance. He's there at Yankee Stadium. You had your chance to go down the road, and you didn't want to do it. You said, well, there's a lot of people. You could have said, me. This guy right here thinks Jeter stinks as a defender. You had your shot. You had your shot to take down number 2, Jeets. The captain. It's the captain. It's my boy Jeter. Huh? It's my bad New York impression.
Where do you put Jeter on your list of great Yankees of all time?
He's really up there.
Like, when I think great Yankees, I think obviously
I think he's
top 5. Is he ahead of DiMaggio, Mantle, or Ruth? I don't think so.
Well, I don't know, man. He played 20-something years, had an impeccable career, was the leader of that franchise. In modern-day sports, when the whole thing's a big different. This isn't Marilyn Monroe and the Yankees back then, DiMaggio. There's a lot more pressure on professional athletes, more spotlight than ever before on you. I can't stand Jeter, but I have the ultimate respect for Jeter. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like, I think it's really hard to say you could have a more, how do I want to put this? He had nearly a perfect career as the leader of a franchise, of arguably America's most popular franchise, if not one of them. He had no blemishes. He played in the steroid era. He played in eras where there was issues. Never had a contract problem. Never got arrested. I mean, Derek Jeter's career as a winner, all the championships. I mean, what is the thing that there's like literally 20 days of his career that he played that they were mathematically eliminated? So they were always winning. He was always in the spotlight. How many American athletes? Because other sports, you don't play as many games. So you're talking 20-something years, 7 months, he's in the spotlight every single day and answered the call every single day, showed up to his locker every single day. I mean, it's pretty hard to find anybody who had a better career when you look at everything than Derek Jeter.
No, that's well said. You're right. Like, for me, he's the greatest Yankee of my lifetime because I'm 35 years old. I didn't see DiMaggio and Mantle and Gehrig and Ruth and Yogi Berra.
Is he the most influential Yankee? Probably not. That's probably going to be Babe Ruth.
Yes.
Babe Ruth helped save the freaking sport, if you don't know. Like, financially and helping, and like Babe Ruth was a big part of why baseball became baseball. No offense to Gehrig or Mantle, but the Yankees are going to be fine with or without Mickey Mantle or Joe DiMaggio. I mean, Babe Ruth helped make the Yankees and help save baseball. He's pretty influential. And then Derek Jeter. I'd probably go Jeter too. Hey, man, you can go look at the attendance when Mickey Mantle was playing and Maris. And there's a lot of empty seats when they're hitting those balls into the outfield. Right? The Yes Network, the new stadium, like all of that is on Derek Jeter's watch.
Yeah, if I had to,
the championship run, like getting the Yankees back to the championship run, that's on Derek Jeter's watch. He was a part of that. He was one of the pillars. He was one of the pillars because as you just heard from the voice of the Yankees, who's a young guy learning, when I was growing up, the Yankees sucked. First Yankee game I ever saw, I'd never seen the Yankees before until I came to San Jose State, came to an A's game. It's Mel Hall. It's Kevin Moss. Mattingly's hurt, right? This is 91. Mattingly started having the back problems in 90.
What year, that the year they were bad and they took Brian Taylor, who never made it to the majors? What year was he drafted?
No, because my high school year was Chipper Jones was number one.
Okay. Taylor was
Chippa.
91 was the year he was taken.
So 91. So it's like, think how bad the Yankees were. And then all of a sudden, here comes Jeter. You know what? Coming up next, he's a known Yankee honk, that Martín Gallegos. Martín Gallegos went to the commissioner's office.
He was at the MLB offices. So he might have saw Manfred.
Wow.
Our good friend Rob.
Martín Gallegos sticks it to Rob Manfred next right here on A's Cast Live.
Whether it's a midweek trip to the ballpark to catch a game or a weekend of baseball for the family, grab your tickets for an A's game this season. Secure your seats today for all the biggest matchups, fireworks, drone shows, giveaways, and more. Don't miss out on all the things happening this season.
Rose and Seth. It's a drive into center. It's deep, and Straw is back at the track. He will turn and watch it fly.
So grab yours now at athletics.com/tickets. That's athletics.com/tickets.
Where does one community end and the next begin? Across the railroad tracks? On the other side of the river? Is it between the east side and the west side? At Comerica Bank, we believe it's all one community, and we're all part of it. That's why Comerica has invested over $20 million for affordable housing, financial education, and workforce development in lower-income communities. Because when we raise expectations for everyone, we all rise. Member FDIC, Equal Opportunity Lender.
With an advanced network, cybersecurity solutions, and trusted partnership, Comcast Business powers more businesses than anyone. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Get started with internet and security for your small business for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year contract. Plus, ask how to get up to an $800 prepaid card with qualifying internet. Call today. Ends 5/5/24. Restrictions apply. New customers only with 50 megabits per second internet and security edge. EcoBill and autopay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra.
This is the place where you can dance like nobody's watching, win like nobody's business, and get away like you mean it. So what are you waiting for? Come join the party. Take that evening out and make it a night you'll never forget. This kind of action can't be beat.
This is Chris Townsend. There are two things that are a must for me: comfort and style. Whether I'm playing golf, going to dinner, I've got to have the right feel. That's why I've partnered with Linksole, and you're going to love Linksole. They have just released their new spring line, new fabrics for their polos, lightweight and perfect for technical performance. Linksole also has new styles for their layers and hoodies with cool prints and seasonal colors. You know what they say in the big leagues: look good, play good. Go to linksole.com. That's linksole.com.
You deserve extra. Extra Mile is where you get it. You don't just deserve breakfast. You deserve extra fresh Mile 1 coffee just the way you like it. You deserve more than a quick bite. You deserve an extra satisfying array of hot foods, extra good snacks, and fountain drinks that help you go the extra mile. Plus, with Extra Mile rewards, you can earn free stuff. Visit Extra Mile at select Chevron and Texaco locations. See program terms and conditions for details.
You're listening to A's Cast Live. Here's Chris Townsend.
Martín Gallegos covers the A's better than anybody for MLB.com. He's at Where are you at Yankee Stadium? Are you in the press box?
Yeah, I was in the press box. I came over to the broadcast booths just to get a little bit quieter sound.
Nice. How is it? How's the trip to New York?
It's been great. I always love coming out here. The city is awesome just to get to walk around. I'm staying right in Midtown, so right in the heart of everything, right next to Radio City Music Hall. The MLB offices are right across the street. You got Times Square not too far away, so it's a great trip. I love it. I love it here.
Now, we know you're a foodie. When you go to New York, do you just kind of get there, wait and see, or do you have planned spots you're going to go to?
There was a taco place that I actually found out about. It's kind of near Midtown called Tacos No. 1, and it's pretty good. They taste like the tacos back home, which is kind of – I never thought I'd find tacos that are as good as California tacos out here, but they're pretty legit, man. I'd recommend it. Anybody who comes out here.
Yeah, because that's like – people need to understand, once you start talking about Mexican food outside of California, it's rolling dice when people go, oh, that's great. You go, I remember the first time, you got to try this Tex-Mex. And I was no offense to people who grew up on Tex-Mex. Yeah, man, you can get wherever you go, New York, you're going to find great restaurants. You're going to find hole in the walls, great bars. I once did, when I was with the Raiders, it was taking on the Jets. I had a buddy living in New York. We did a pub crawl, a historic pub crawl. And every pub that we did was open. It was either 1915 or earlier. We went to some pubs that were open in 18 something. I mean, you can find so much great stuff in New York City. It is unbelievable. What are your main storylines so far out of these two games at Yankee Stadium?
Well, I think the first day was obviously Mason Miller and what he did, in that ninth inning. I mean, it was electric. His first game here in Yankee Stadium, obviously a little bit, all eyes are on him, especially since that was the only game going on at that time. And what he was able to do, I mean, what he did at the top of the lineup, Volpe, Soto, and Judge, it was just, he made him look bad. You never see those guys look like that. So it was pretty impressive that night. And then yesterday, I think Lawrence Butler getting that home run. He's been kind of unlucky. I wrote about that yesterday. Just his stats have been kind of deceiving. When you look at the StatCast numbers, he's actually, his expected numbers should be a lot better than they actually are. So maybe that's the home run that gets him going. But I think a competitive first two games overall is the takeaway from this the 4-game series in New York to start off.
I've been saying this about Lawrence Butler, and I know we talked about it down at spring training, but the A's drafted him. The A's raised him. He loves the franchise. He loves being here. I mean, he's what you want as a pillar as you build going forward. And that's why what you're talking about with the expected stats, things should be better. But it all just says why you need to keep playing him. And you need to roll the dice and keep on Lawrence Butler to be an A. Your article is great, and I agree. They need to just keep playing him.
Yeah, and I think, as an organization, they kind of evaluate the at-bats more, the quality of the at-bats rather than the numbers, right? Because if it was just down to just straight numbers, I mean, he's hitting 190. If they were evaluating based off that, he might be in AAA by now. But, he's swinging the bat well. His exit velos are always off the charts. I mean, he hits every ball over 100 every single time. And he's been driving the ball real well. So I think it's only a matter of time before the hits start to fall. He feels that way as well. He's not really working on too many adjustments because he's swinging it well. It's just a matter of seeing those balls drop down. He is walking a lot more this year, which is good as well. So I think once those hits start to fall, I mean, he could be a force in this lineup. But the A's really need, a boost. They could use a boost on offense based on how they've started out this year because their wins have been pretty much the result of good pitching and good defense at this point.
Are you feeling kind of the same way about Geloff?
Yeah, I talked to him the first day here in New York, the day when he hit the home run, and he just talked about feeling kind of the pressure of kind of being the guy that everyone is looking towards. I mean, this all offseason, when everyone talked about the Oakland A's, the first guy that you bring up is Zack Gelof. And, when the results aren't there right away, it's hard to kind of stick to that process of thinking about the long season because you're going in every day, trying to ignite this offense. And he said it's been a struggle for him, admittedly, but I think he's got a clearer head about it. I think moving down the lineup has been a good thing for him. Him and Kotze both agreed that, moving out of that 2 spot for a little bit is going to help him just kind of relax a little bit and not have to worry about, being the guy every single night. And then once he gets his confidence back, I think they'll move him back up in the order. But I think it's only a matter of time. He puts in the work every day. He works so hard that, he's going to get success at some point. It's going to start to roll for him. It's tough to start out the year and not, be as good as he was last year with all those expectations that he carried through this year.
I'm so happy for JP Sears. I mean, the fact that the way he pitched last year, the way he pitched in spring training, the way he's going now, he had the no-no going in Texas. He pitched beautifully against the Yankees. Drafted by the Yankees, he has a lot of respect. He thanks them for teaching him a lot. Just you tell me, if you got to talk to him, just how big was this outing, and now how big is it the way JP Sears is throwing the baseball?
Yeah, it definitely was a big outing for him, and I know him specifically. He wanted to pitch well here. It's kind of, everyone calls it like a revenge game, right? It's not like he has anything against the organization, but he wants to come in here and pitch well. And he had a start here last year, his first start back at Yankee Stadium, where 4 innings he was cruising, and the 5th inning it just kind of fell apart. And this time out, this last time, he talked about that was in his mind. As he was in the dugout. Last time he was here, he had 4 good innings, and the last inning it fell apart. This time he was able to go out there and finish the job for 6 innings or whatever he was able to go. And he was locked in. And these, like you said, these last 3 starts, only one run allowed, I believe. He's been really good, and he's looking like the JP Sears that we saw last year when he was on that consistent run of just putting together quality starts and being the guy you could count on every 5th day to give you a chance to win. And it's been good to see. I mean, he's throwing a little bit of a different. He's added a sinker to his mix, and it seems like his changeup has been a really good pitch for him. So it's looking good for him these last 3 starts.
Got to get my guy Ryan Noda going again.
Yeah, he's back in the starting. He's back in the leadoff spot. We'll see how he goes.
I mean, walking and then because I was thinking he walks, starts hitting for some power. This would be a big year. It just hasn't worked yet for him.
Yeah, it seems like he's not seeing the ball as well. I mean, obviously, based on numbers, it's not. But it seems like he's having a harder time kind of recognizing pitches as opposed to last year when obviously we saw him just an on-base machine. And I think he's a guy who's going in there every day working hard as well. It is last year was his first full year. Guys are making adjustments to him. Kotze talks about kind of the development process with all these guys. We kind of forget that they're so young and barely either have finished their first full year or are going through their first full year. So I mean, they're going to hit these ups and downs. It's just kind of trying to navigate through it and maintain a level of positivity and just hope that it's going to turn for you. All throughout the minors, these guys have been successful, and as at some point they feel like if they keep the process going, the results will follow. But it is tough when you start out the year like this, and really it's been a collective effort. I mean, the whole offense I think is underperformed. They'll tell you that themselves. These hitters, they haven't performed at the capabilities that they feel like they can. So the fact that they're still winning some ball games here, I think it's just a testament to how they've been pitching and how they've been playing defense.
All right, before we get to you storming the commissioner's office and the MLB offices there in Manhattan, Justin Shackil, the new voice of the Yankees, told us that, really in 2 days, they haven't even mentioned relocation in the broadcast. I'm like, as time will go and it'll change and people will stop, not this year, but when the team gets to Sacramento. But it just goes to show there will be change. So much talk about it in the offseason. No one wanted to talk about the players. Now the A's get to New York. Now everybody's realizing, hey, the A's got some good players. Just really talk about the reaction that New York is having to A's players, especially Mason Miller.
Yeah, I mean, that was the showcase. And I think he's going on MLB Network tomorrow, and he's kind of been making the rounds. He went to the MLB offices earlier, so he's getting his shine. I think that's good to see for him because, I mean, he deserves it the way he's been pitching. His first 3 weeks, he's been, arguably the most dominant pitcher in baseball, starting or relieving. So it's good to see that. Zack Gelof, I think a lot of people here, people know baseball here, and they recognize talent when they see it, and I think they see guys like Zach Geloff, they see guys like Lawrence Butler. These guys are good ball players. The numbers might not show it right now, but I think there's a feeling of people outside that they're building something here with a lot of young guys who are finally up in the majors. They're still rebuilding, but it seems like their time is coming where they're going to come back and be a competing ball club again. And I mean, they've been competitive. I mean, I know that they got swept in Cleveland. It wasn't great, but you take away their games against Cleveland, they're playing 500 ball right now, right? So, good thing they don't have to play the Guardians anymore, I guess, right?
I see like a movie scene when you want to see somebody in their office and you just blow right by their secretary and they go, "You can't go in there," and you storm in. I envision that's you, Rob Manfred. There's like security going, "You can't," and you just barge right. Is that how that went?
Not quite. I don't want to lose my job here. So, but I mean, last night was tough. I mean, I brought that up with Kotze to start out the scrum post game. I mean, to lose a game like that where it feels kind of like the bat is taken out of your hands, it's hard. It's frustrating. I know obviously Law was frustrated. Schumann. Seems like 2 nights in a row he's had 2 pretty egregious strike 3 calls against them, and you never want to see that. And it's really, I mean, it's been tough. I mean, you look at like the umpire scorecards on Twitter now, and all this stuff is magnified. We see right away when there's a bad game, and it seems like back-to-back nights. It was pretty bad. The percentages will show you that it wasn't a great night for the guy behind the plate either night. So you hope to see that improve here because. It's tough when a young player is barely up here trying to perform and they feel like they get the bat taken out of their hands. It's not a good look, and it was a tough way because that game was competitive last night and every swing counted. One pitch goes another way, the A's could maybe tie that game in the ninth, so we never know.
When you go over to the MLB offices, what is it like? Because a lot of us will never do that. You'll never get that opportunity. What's it like when you go there? Because that is the head of baseball.
Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, that's kind of where the magic happens for me, in terms of my stories and everything. When our research team, a lot of the people who are on our great research team at MLB all work out of that office there. A lot of the higher ups work there. It's a huge building. I think it's a few stories. There's like a cafeteria in there where people can order food and a coffee shop. It feels like you're in a tech company type building. Everything is so nice and high tech. They got obviously the replay center in there as well. A lot of cool stuff, a lot of tributes to former players and stuff like that, like a big Roberto Clemente section. It's really cool. It's really awesome. I know it's kind of hard to get in there, but if anybody ever gets to go there, it's really awesome. And it's connected to the MLB store, the flagship store there, which is pretty cool. I went in there, bought this hoodie there, which is cool, and it was a good time. Every time I come out here, I try to visit the offices, as much as I can because it's a really cool building.
Yeah, because it's not fair. Same thing. The NFL has their offices there too. It's like these offices, like the commissioner, they get so much bad press. People don't realize that inside these buildings that are running these billion-dollar sports, there's a lot of smart people doing a lot of good inside these buildings.
Yeah, it's all all the people behind the scenes that, like I said, kind of make the magic happen. I get to meet a lot of those people who I've communicated with, online, but I never get to meet them in person. I was able to put the face to the name, and it was really cool. A lot of great people that work there. So, I'm grateful to be working for MLB, and it's cool every time I come out here because I get to visit that office. Like I said, I'm staying right across the street from it, so I might go there one more time, maybe tomorrow before we head back.
Is this when you storm into Manfred's office and demand?
Yeah. I'll go in there and demand change right away.
Bring me with you on the phone. A's Cast Plus. No, we've had Rob Manfred on the show twice. He's great. I know a lot of people in our neck of the woods are not happy, but having dealt with Manfred, he's great.
Yeah, I've never one-on-one talked to him, but I know he does a lot of our state of the MLB type stuff, and he's always keeping us in the loop on things. So that's always good. I know I saw Law was at the offices. Maybe he had some words for him. I don't know.
Oh, the law! Don't bring the law into the office. Oh boy! All right, buddy. Be well. Enjoy the rest of this series. Are you going to Baltimore?
No, I won't be there. I'll be going back home, but we'll have coverage there for sure.
All right. Be well.
All right. Sounds good, Tony.
Martín Gallegos. Yeah, and I'm not saying that to try and ruffle anybody's feathers. It's just we have had the opportunity now twice to interview the commissioner of baseball, once face-to-face right before the playoff game. And we asked Manfred tough questions, and he answered them. There was no, you can't ask him this, you can't ask him that. Obviously, before the 2019 playoff game against Tampa, life was a little different. Circumstances were different. I get that. But there's no chance that I could, when I was doing all my Raider shows, there was no chance I could get Roger Goodell. That was no chance. Rob Manfred, we've had twice here on A's Cast.
I think the only commissioner I've been unable to book so far is Roger Goodell.
Yeah, you're not kidding.
I think I've done Silver. I've had Bettman, and oh boy, that was a great, that was an interesting interview with Bettman. And then we've had Manfred twice.
Yeah. But yeah, those offices, you're controlling. You got to have a head office that has 30 different, you think of it like as a Starbucks, right? You have the main office, and then you have this offshoot of all these different Starbucks or McDonald's or whatever it is, franchises. And you got to make them all happy, but they're all different. Like all the franchises are different. But in the end, you're in control of helping all these franchises be successful. The owners own the business. You, the commissioner, you work for the owners. But you also have to lay down some laws and protect the owners from themselves. It's an interesting dynamic. And you have these franchises. Obviously, Miami's different from New York. New York's different from Houston. Houston's different from Seattle. Seattle's different from Kansas City and from San Diego and Arizona and Oakland, San Francisco. I mean, it's just, but in the end, you can't have anybody go rogue. You've got to keep everybody. It's funny how that works, right? Because in the end, everybody works for the owners, but yet the commissioner's office can't control owners because you can't have one owner go rogue. Like, because that's bad. That's bad for the overall business of the game.
You don't want a rogue owner or a guy going rogue like a Al Davis or
a Jerry Jones.
Jerry Jones.
Like in recent years, Jerry Jones, like all of a sudden trying to cut deals that are against the NFL. Al Davis is suing the other. I mean, when Al Davis saying, you're telling me I can't go to L.A.? I'm going. And the NFL and Pete Rozelle, the commissioner then of the NFL, and Al Davis are in court. I mean, basically, Al Davis is suing the other owners. And that's why there was always the conspiracy of all the penalties. But yeah, Al Davis was suing his fellow owners. And in the end, won. But yeah, you don't want guys going rogue. You don't want franchises going rogue. That's like things that we do. Maybe you guys don't understand. Like things that we do on this program, there's some things we can't do that if we were doing this like at our old station, 95.7 The Game, we completely could do it. But we're under guidelines of Major League Baseball. That's why when there was the labor strife, we were off the air because we're under the umbrella of Major League Baseball. We knew that going in when we took this job. We don't. Everybody's cool and allows us to do what we do, but if there was ever a time we're going off the rails, they'll rein us back in. I mean, Major League Baseball has the ability to do that to us. Major League Baseball had to approve us, by the way. They had to approve what we're doing here. Major League Baseball had to approve that. Now, that's different when you're a rights holder and you're a TV, cable, terrestrial radio station. But there's a lot that they have to deal with. There's the international market. I mean, they're trying to grow baseball in Asia and in Europe, and there's all kinds of – there's Major League Baseball, the NFL, the NBA. They're all huge. They're global entities. And when you go to these offices, I've never been to the offices. I just know about them. Like, this is where the business is being run. There's people that I met in Tokyo, Japan, who work for Major League Baseball, who put on the games that are done in Asia. Baseball has offices in Tokyo, Japan. They're paying people to grow the game in Asia. You don't think about that. There's people growing the game in Europe who work out of offices in Europe.
And we've London games coming up at some point, right? Is it
Well, I did the NFL was a great example. I did an NFL. I did a London game, and you met people who work for the NFL who live in London year round.
June 8th and 9th.
You don't think about that, but there's people who work for Major League Baseball. There's people who work for the NFL who live in Europe year round, and that's all they do. And you'd be like, well, what do they do? Kind of my question, like, okay, you got these games, we were playing at Wembley Stadium. Like, okay, what do you do? Like, there used to be NFL Europe. You had like a minor league system, but like, what do you do? What do you do 365 days out of the year living in Tokyo or living in London promoting Major League Baseball? But it's a full global entity. It's a global industry.
Yeah, June 8th and 9th.
And you're worried about whether Jeter's a good defensive shortstop or whether Seth Brown should be hitting fifth. There's people who are trying to grow this game globally.
Forgot to ask Martin where he had Jeter on his Yankee power rankings.
I got him 2.
My lifetime, he's 1, but because I didn't see.
Well,
those
that's
guys.
Not what you said.
But if you
wasn't I know in your world, Cody, everything's based about you. So as you said, in your lifetime, but you originally said
he's in the top 5.
You originally said Yankees all time, but then of course, being you brought it back to you in your lifetime. But you originally said all time.
Yeah, he's either 4 or 5. I can't. To me,
4 or 5.
I just can't put him ahead of Ruth, Mantle, or DiMaggio.
Based on what?
Overall greatness.
So you're just basing it off player.
Yes.
Okay.
On the field. I know Jeter's done off the field. How many people love Jeter?
Because I'm taking it. I guess I'm taking it as a step further as greatest Yankees. I'm just not saying in between the lines. I'm talking about like the whole package. Like Babe Ruth is just not about numbers.
He's a big deal.
George Herman Ruth is way bigger than that.
Yeah, I was looking at just from the baseball. I would say
you're being a baseball dork.
Yeah, it's hard for the only thing that's like I'm having a hard time with Jeter with is do I have him ahead of Gehrig or Yogi Berra? How many World Series did Yogi win?
You got to remember, DiMaggio didn't play a long time.
True, but
DiMaggio played 13 years. What? Just because he was in Simon and Garfunkel's song?
Or
where have you gone, Joe DiMaggio? Is that why?
10-time World Series champion for Yogi Berra. I know Jeter won how many? 4.
Let's slow down on the championships when it wasn't very competitive around the game.
5 World Series for Jeter. My bad. I forgot about the one they won.
Let's be honest. The competitive balance of when the Yankees were having these dominant runs with Mantle and Berra and these guys, and even Joe D, the competitive balance was not like it is in modern day sports.
Is that why so many people discredit Bill Russell for winning all those titles? He won 11.
But then again, there was less teams, especially when Bill Russell played.
No 3-point line.
Well, there was no really garbage guys playing.
Yeah.
Like that's when people talk about the talent. I saw something interesting, by the way, showing how big NBA and muscular guys used to be and now how bad body guys, NBA guys, is a bunch of skinny. Now, you look at what David Robinson and Patrick Ewing and Shaquille O'Neal and these guys, Karl Malone and all these guys look like, and you look at like what guys look like now. But getting back to baseball, the pressure of playing in Jeter's era of every at-bat, every single game we're watching, that's not, we viewed baseball players as romantic figures back in those days. Obviously, I wasn't alive, but you didn't see every highlight. You didn't see bad plays. You didn't see all you is the Mick. As Bob Costas, the Mick is running through the outfield like Mickey Mantle never made an error. Mickey Mantle never struck out. We don't see that, right? Willie Mays, they make Willie Mays out to be like, oh my God, he's the greatest player. Like Willie Mays never screwed up. Well, we didn't have cameras on them. We didn't have every single game. We didn't check these guys didn't hit 1,000. They did make outs. They did hit the double plays. We didn't do that. And some guys, you take a guy like Ted Williams, he fought in war, right?
Fair.
Some guys fought in war. You want to talk about tough? They went and fought in war. And
Joe DiMaggio did 3 years.
Joe DiMaggio was never in combat. You know that, right?
I don't. I just know he was in the service.
Served the country. Joe DiMaggio was not in combat.
He wasn't flying planes like Ted Williams?
No. He wasn't a gunner. He wasn't on a ship. He was not in combat. But he did serve. I just have, once again, I can't stand Jeter, but I have a lot. If we're talking all-time Yankees, and I can't believe we're even doing this on this show, I gotta have Jeter really up there.
You got Jeets' back?
Well, he's got 5 titles. How many did he play in?
They lost the 01 World Series, right? And 03, so it's 7 already. Yeah, 7.
Played in 7 World Series.
Right?
Who in modern day baseball? You're bringing up, Yogi Berra. Well, they played for it every year, and by the way, they didn't have playoffs. Once again, I'm gonna single you out because you're all I got. You people don't put anything to context. They had no playoffs. You won the American League. You played in the World Series. And you're going to be like, oh, well, dude, these guys got to go through wild card rounds, divisional rounds, ALCSs. It's a lot harder to get to the World Series now than it was when Yogi Berra, they dominated. They had more talent than anybody else, and they just had to win the American League. You don't put that into context. You don't give Jeter credit for that. And now I have to call you out on that. Did Joe DiMaggio have to battle through all these playoff rounds to get to the World Series?
No.
It's a lot harder. And once again, think about the business of Derek Jeter and the business of the Yankees, how much it grew with him as the leader of that franchise. Yeah. Is that more important than Mickey Mantle's home runs?
No, but Mickey Mantle is a pretty good all-around player from the stats. I've never seen him play.
No doubt. He's one of the greatest players of all time. But did the Yankee machine of what the Yankees became with Derek Jeter, did any of those old guys rival that? They kept it going, but what was their competition? Give me the years Mickey Mantle played. And if I went, what was the population of Kansas City when Mickey Mantle growing up in Oklahoma? What are we talking about?
Mantle played from 51 to 68.
All right, we're talking from the 50s to the 60s. What was Houston, Texas like in the 50s and the 60s?
I don't have the answer to that question. I assume it's not as populated as it is now.
What was Dallas like? What was San Diego like? He's playing in a time where we didn't have a bunch of teams. The Giants and the Dodgers moved west in the 50s. It's a different time. You have all the teams are concentrated predominantly in the Northeast. The furthest team west was who?
Back then, was it the Cardinals?
St. Louis Cardinals. That's the furthest west you had a team. You want to compare that baseball with nowadays and how a player, what he means to a franchise? There was no Nike when Mickey Mantle was playing. And I'm not taking anything away from their greatness. I'm just saying so many times we romanticize about the old players, the Mick, the DiMaggio, Teddy Ballgame and everything. And you think like it's a different time. Today, for a guy to do what Derek Jeter did, in modern day sports is pretty incredible. Because as great as Jordan is a supremely flawed person. Supremely flawed. And there's a lot of stuff that's been kept from the public, but there's stuff that we know about. He was a flawed superstar, but he was great, right? A lot of these guys are flawed. We thought Tom Brady wasn't flawed. Tom Brady's flawed. Jeter didn't have any of that. There's no scandals around Derek Jeter. 22 years or whatever it was playing in New York. 20 years playing in New York. What happened? Nothing but winning, nothing but a class act. The business grew. His brand grew. I mean, it's a pretty storybook. It's a pretty storybook career in New York. This wasn't in Seattle. This wasn't in Jacksonville, Florida, if you were a Jaguar. I mean, this wasn't in Orlando. I mean, he did this in New York City for 20 years. It makes me want to throw up saying it, but it is true. If you want to be mature about it and you want to be, okay, we're looking at, a greatness of a player. I mean, look at what he did. Health-wise, showed up every day. Pretty damn good. I mean, it's hard to believe. Like, when you talk about those guys and you just mentioned the World Series, actually, it was much harder to win a World Series when Derek Jeter played. Think of the teams that he had to play against. The great Indians teams that were absolutely stacked. There were great teams that he had to match up against. The Atlanta Braves with one of the greatest pitching staffs of all time. The Yankees back in those days when everybody goes, look how much they won. They were by far better than everybody else. They were by far, like, look at UCLA basketball in that era. Like, look how many times they were like stacked teams that weren't going to be beat. Everybody was below them. There's far more competitive balance when Derek Jeter was winning. Remember, Derek Jeter shows up. They weren't good. They hadn't been good. Don Mattingly played in the playoffs one time in his entire career.
Wasn't it Jeter's first year? Wasn't his first time in the playoffs 95? Jeter's first year was 95.
He was just up. I don't even think it was really his first year.
Well, it was not. Jeter only played in 15 games in 95.
Because if you look at what was that Don Manley, maybe it was a Jeter documentary or a Manley where it showed Jeter was on the bench. He was there, but he was hardly there. It was not.
It might have been the captain that they did on ESPN. That was a huge thing.
Yeah,
recently.
they showed him when he was not really a Yankee. He was just coming. How many games did he play that year?
15. He had 48 at-bats. Didn't even hit a home run.
So now let's review this. He shows up in 96 and talk about the growth of the business, the Yankees, Jeter, and everything from 96 on, and compare that to any other Yankee. It's gonna be tough to beat.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to go from that time span, the only other guy that had a pretty great career would be Mariano Rivera.
No doubt, but Mariano Rivera is not.
No, he's not a position player, and he's not Derek Jeter.
Yeah, he's not. From a baseball standpoint, X's and O's and data and stats and everything, yes. But when you talk about stars, yeah.
I don't know if that time. Honestly,
I can't believe you got Jeter fourth or fifth. You said fifth. You're going to find four other guys that were bigger Yankees.
I was looking on the field.
You're just looking at Baseball Reference.
Yes, I'm basing off of their overall numbers,
but we're dealing with human beings, just not numbers.
True, but I don't know Mickey.
Who's
Mantle.
Number one?
Babe Ruth.
Who's number two?
Probably Mickey Mantle.
Mickey's bigger than the Joe DiMaggio?
I think so. He's pretty good career. They're both pretty good. I mean, Mike Trout gets compared to Mickey Mantle all the time, and Mike Trout's arguably probably the greatest player.
Okay,
of his
so
generation.
you're going. So you've completely skipped over Lou Gehrig.
Lou Gehrig's a good player too. That's why I said it's hard to when you look at how
skipped over Lou Gehrig like he was trash. Trash in the Bronx. You just kicked to the side.
Surprising, I don't have a Yankee starting pitcher in my top five.
Why would you? Who would it be? The chairman.
I would say the chairman of the board's one I can really think of. Sorry, Roger Clemens wasn't a Yankee long enough for me.
What about Louisiana Lightning?
Either was
Gator. What about Gator?
Either was Musina, and Andy Petto's a pretty good Yankee, but he's not on that list. By the way, Jeter, let's go and look at it. Great offensive career, obviously. Negative 9.4 defensive WAR.
What is he in the postseason offensively?
Oh, his postseason numbers? Let's take a look.
And how many years did he play in the postseason?
Well, he's played 16 years in the postseason.
16 years in the postseason, Cody. Jesus.
He was a 308 hitter in the postseason.
My God, 16 years in the postseason, and you don't give him credit. That's Bush League. That is Bush League. And I can't stand Jeter, and I'm calling you out on that. 16 years he played. 16. That's like Tom Brady.
Yeah.
And it's harder to be in MLB playoffs than it is in the NFL.
Yeah.
16 years he played in the postseason. You're giving him no credit.
I never said that.
Yeah, you are, because you're like, oh, well, these guys. Who did DiMaggio and Mantle, who did they have to play?
That's just a product.
Who did they have to play?
Great question.
Yeah, exactly. Where are we?
I'm
done talking about Yankeeography. I hate these sons of bitch.
We still got about 10 minutes.
Ooh, I can tell you this.
This is your Yankee fastball thing?
Joe Boyle throws the ball hard. Is that correct? Is that factually correct?
Correct.
Yankees are just 6 for 33 against four-seam fastballs this season. That's a $182. Well, they could be hitting fifth for us then.
Wow, jeez. I mean, if you're going to throw Jeter out there as a bad defensive shortstop, why not have a guy hitting 182 bat fourth?
Who can't hit a fastball? Sign him up.
What was Jeter's numbers for his fastballs?
Probably better than 182. Yankees right now are hitting 182 against fastballs. It's kind of crazy to me, right? Like they had it up on MLB Network that the top 5 fastball throwing staffs for starters are all doing pretty well. Like the Phillies throw fastballs. They're doing pretty well from a starting standpoint. But we've gone to this just spin it game, and that plays right into the Yankees. They don't hit fastballs well. Not fair to say Mason Miller didn't have your regular fastball, right? I mean, you're pumping 102, 103. But let's see what Joe Boyle tonight. I mean, if I have this, Scott Emerson and the boys got to have it. Throw fastball, make these guys, because you keep flipping breaking balls up there, and they just make contact, and they haven't made a lot of contact. They've only scored in 4 innings out of the 44 possible innings on this homestand. But if you just flip breaking ball after breaking ball up there, now JP Sears did a great job of it, but they hit slower velocity better, the spinning pitches better than they do straight. Here's four-seam gas. What can you do with it?
I mean, the Yankees as a team are hitting 232. It's towards the bottom of the league. I mean, it's in the bottom 10 of the league.
So what do you do if you're Scott Emerson and you're doing a scouting report or you're putting a game plan together? I mean, if I got these kind of numbers, we hopefully have these kind of numbers.
Yeah, you would think so.
Hey, Aaron Judge, with your big body and big swing, here's 100. What do you got? I can't stand watching Juan Soto play.
You're talking about overall?
That whole every pitch he's staring. I mean, when is somebody going to dude, you better cut that out. Can you imagine if you did that to Bob Gibson or Roger Clemens or somebody like that? Staring at him after every pitch. Can you imagine that? Oh my God, that's annoying. It just doesn't happen. But if that was back in the day, they'd be like, oh, you think you're a tough guy? You want to stare at me? Drop gloves. Let's go. Bob Gibson would have kicked his ass.
So would Nolan Ryan.
Nolan Ryan would have beat his ass. Like, you look at me, I'll throw fist. You know what Nolan Ryan does in the offseason? Well, he used to. He's older now. He works on the ranch. Cattle ranch.
He's got people for that now.
Nolan Ryan's an old man to beat up Robin Ventura. He was ready to throw fist at any time. These old guys, I'll give the old guys credit. They throw fist. You think the old guys would allow Juan Soto be staring out at them? They just keep throwing at his head. You want to look at me? I'm going to hit you in the head.
Probably true. I mean,
I can't stand that. I don't know. I don't like Juan Soto. I like Aaron Judge.
Yeah, I don't. It's hard to find someone who dislikes Aaron Judge.
Aaron Judge is a freak. I have nothing against Aaron Judge. I've just sat here for 20 minutes and defended Jeter. Juan Soto, not so much. I'll tell you who I really hate is Gleyber Torres.
Well, he's not hitting.
Yeah, he's on my fantasy team. He stinks.
What's he hitting? I think
he's hitting 071 with 6 Ks the last 5 games.
Oh boy, yeah, it's not great.
But these guys struggle against fastballs. I want to see a steady diet of fastballs. Make them earn it. And Joe Boyle's been a tale of a couple different games because last game wasn't great, but the 2 starts, Detroit and Washington, 10 innings, 1 earned run. So if he comes out and has a good outing, tonight, that'll be 3 good, 3 not so hot. But if that's what you're getting out of your 5th starter who's learning, I take that. On a team like this, I take that.
if I'm going to concern myself with any, because the bullpen's been great. I think we have the 4th best overall bullpen ERA in baseball now.
That is correct, sir.
I'm more worried about the guys that were brought in to be veteran leaders of the staff who are not pitching great. That's who I'm more concerned about.
Wow. You're going to be out on an island on that one. Go ahead. You want to go up against Woody, Strip?
I'm just saying, I mean, those are the guys I want to see. I mean, Boyle's, as you said, he's learning. I need to see Wood and Stripling. Now, Ross has had some, I hate to say bad luck, but, he hasn't had a win since 2022 thing.
Where's that death ball?
And then Alex Wood's pitching tomorrow, right? Alex Wood's on the mound tomorrow. So we need to see them,
Is
taking
his
a step.
nickname Woody, by the way? It's got to be. Everybody's nickname's Woody who's Wood. Not Kirk Reeder.
Not Kirk Reeder. Yeah, come on. That's the original Woody for the Giants. Woodman or A Wood is what it says on Baseball Reference.
A Wood.
I need to see Alex Wood this year. We'll get into it more tomorrow, but 0-2 with a 7.89 ERA and 5 starts. I need to see that come down a lot over the next handful of starts. There's guys that the A's, that the organization, like Joey Estes will be here at some point.
I just can't
Luis
believe
Medina will be back. Ken
I just can't
Waldichuk will be
believe you're
back.
going against this front office and this coaching staff when they talk about the veterans that they brought in. That you're going up against A Wood and Strip like that. I can't believe you're doing that.
All I said is need to see improvement.
Man, that's.
And say I didn't like them personally.
Going out on an island right there. You and J.P. Sears should be the opening day starter, huh? You want to start that again?
I said Paulie Pizza should be.
Paulie Pizza, by the way, Paul Blackburn, all seriousness. He gave up a cheapy home run. Anybody notice backhand plays, third base have been an issue this road trip?
Yes.
Right? You got to knock the ball down. And we've seen multiple third basemen. This, if you're watching the game, you're watching it, and you've seen multiple guys. You have to not let that ball get down the line. Maybe we just got too much Chavi, too much Chappie, and we watched.
What was Donald's nickname?
JD.
JD.
We've watched a lot of great third base play in A's history, but I mean, that ball, it can't get by you. And if it does, it's got to be something that's hit so hard or taken. Like when Laureano hit it in Cleveland, it hits off the bag. You have no control over that.
Yeah.
Put a ball down the line, man. I need you. You gotta get some type of your body in front of that to keep it from going down the line. And the old Olay backhand, because that ball goes down the line, guys scoring. Like you gotta dive like a hockey goalie and keep it. I mean, do not let that ball get down the line.
But the first one Schumann, and then last night
Schumann,
Tyler
Nevin. We've seen Toro.
These guys.
We've seen it.
I don't know if them are traditional third basemen. But
doesn't matter if you're playing the position. You got to play the position. That ball can't get down.
The Mike in Texas call. I missed some of his call. I caught some of it. Then I missed some.
He was all bent about the umpire.
Oh, he didn't say anything about Brett Harris in AAA. So usually that's his guy. He's a big Brett Harris guy.
No, he didn't.
Okay,
he did. All right, are we done?
Yeah. Yes, actually.
Fun show today. I mean, other than you doing Yankeeography, you got any more Yankee? You want to do Yankee history? Who do you want to? What era of Yankee baseball do you want? You want to go in there? The New York Highlanders or whatever they used to be.
We're gonna go a little Yankee history tomorrow when we talk to the great Brian Sabian.
Ooh, Sabes. Brian Sabian on the 3-time World Series champion, Brian Sabian. And actually, he's a 4-time World Series champion because he was with the Yankees in 96.
No, he's back with the Yankees.
Yeah. Brian Sabian, at some point you need to ask the question, executive in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, because we want to talk about.
You guys are all going to say, Bochy's a Hall of Famer. Well, then what about Sabian? He's the guy that built those teams.
I think the 3 executives.
And remember, he showed up here. They won in 97. And he turned Giants baseball around, helped get Giants baseball to Pac-Bell Park. Now you're going from New York honk to now you're a Giants honk.
If I had to pick 4 guys that I could think of right now that, in my opinion, should be in the Hall of Fame, Sandy Alderson, Billy Beane, Theo Epstein, and then Brian Sabian.
Billy Beane's going to the Hall of Fame, no question.
So is Theo.
Theo, no questions, going to the Hall of Fame.
Brian Sabean should be on that list as well. I think Sandy has a good case too.
Billy Bean, Theo's going because he broke 2 curses.
Yes.
The Bambino and the GOAT, right? He's getting into that. And then Billy Bean helped change the game of baseball.
Yes.
And Billy Bean will be in the Baseball Hall of Fame. And when they do that vote for executives, he will be in the Hall of Fame. I was
never worried. Worried about it.
That's a no-brainer. William Bean's getting in.
So those are my fault. Yeah, but I think Sabean should be on that list.
I agree.
Now he's back as a special advisor to Brian Cashman.
By the way, ever since the Giants let Sabean go, how's it been going?
Not great. They lost today. And
how's it going? How much have you won?
Yeah, not much. No, actually, they've won nothing.
Yeah.
They haven't even won a playoff series, have they? No, they haven't.
No.
They won 107 games, though. They can hang their hat on that, then lost in the first round of the Dodgers.
Yeah. All right, coming up next, A's baseball, Game 3 from the Bronx. Boyle, Schmidt. Cannot wait. Anything about tomorrow, Brian Sabean? What else?
Shooty Babbitt will be on.
The great Shooty Babbitt. Oh, styling and profiling. He's like the Ric Flair of A's pre- and post-game live.
Correct. And Friday, we're going to talk to Cole Irvin, so I'm looking forward to that.
Our old buddy. I love Cole Irvin.
Also, remember to subscribe and like the A's YouTube page if you're watching this show.
Subscribe, like.
And subscribe and rate and review A's Cast on Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts as well. So
coming up, A's and Yankees right here on A's Cast and the A's Radio Network. This is Chris Townsend. I'm proud to announce our Year 2 partnership with Link Soul. They've changed my wardrobe, and they can do the same for you. And right now, their spring collection is fabulous. Natural fabrics and versatile styles, perfect for this time of the year. And they want to introduce their performance line for golf, premium for on-course apparel, design, and to keep you cool and dry. Check it all out, linksoul.com. That's linksoul.com. Remember, look good, play good.
Where does one community end and the next begin? Across the railroad tracks? On the other side of the river? Is it between the east side and the west side? At Comerica Bank, we believe it's all one community, and we're all part of it. That's why Comerica has invested over $20 million for affordable housing, financial education, and workforce development in lower-income communities. Because when we raise expectations for everyone, we all rise. Member FDIC, Equal Opportunity Lender.
if you haven't been to the Chicken Pie Shop in Walnut Creek, what are you waiting for? You're going to love the new menu, and it's a great place to watch all the games. Come taste their world-famous chicken pie that has been served in Southern California for 86 years. They have a new spring menu with special dishes and a full bar with new delicious spring cocktails. Spacious indoor and outdoor dining, perfect for your next corporate party or birthday celebration. Don't forget free parking. For more information, go to chickenpieshopwc.com. That's chickenpieshopwc.com.
Nestled in the hills of San Jose, minutes from Silicon Valley, Cinnabar Hills Golf Club offers 27 holes of championship golf, a first-class pro shop, practice facility, and great food in the grill. This time of year also means family and business get-togethers. Let the folks at Cinnabar Hills make your event unforgettable while enjoying their award-winning venue. It's all there for you. Championship golf, a great space for any events, and incredible food. See it all at CinnabarHills.com. That's CinnabarHills.com.
With an advanced network, cybersecurity solutions, and trusted partnership, Comcast Business powers more businesses than anyone. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Get started with internet and security for your small business for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year contract. Plus, ask how to get up to an $800 prepaid card with qualifying internet. Call today. Ends 5524. Restrictions apply. New customers only with 50 megabits per second internet and security edge. EcoBill and autopay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra.
Whether it's a midweek trip to the ballpark to catch a game or a weekend of baseball for the family, grab your tickets for an A's game this season. Secure your seats today for all the biggest matchups, fireworks, drone shows, giveaways, and more. Don't miss out on all the things happening this season.
Throws and set. It's a drive into center. It's deep, and Straw is back at the track. He will turn and watch it fly.
So grab yours now at athletics.com/tickets. That's athletics.com/tickets.
Unlock offers and receive exclusive in-game features by downloading the MLB Ballpark app for iPhone and Android today. Plus, get the latest information on game times, schedules, and more.
This has been a presentation of the Oakland Athletics.